Hi, everyone. Good morning. Happy Wednesday. Hope everybody is having a fantastic week. We are halfway through the end of this week. Can you guys believe Christmas is like 7 days away? Oh, this is our last full week before they go on holiday vacation. Time is just flying by. I can't believe it. We are almost towards the end of 2024. Seems like this year went really, really quick. Actually, I feel like every year goes quick, right? Like you blink and a year has gone by. And before you know it, it's amazing. But good morning to all of you. Hey, Lazy Wolf, Poetic Justice, Captain Kurt. Dude, I've been watching all that crap going down. I'm a little shocked. Alabama Mama 4, Toe Beans, Texas, Whispers, Revival, Opinionated, Kels, good morning. Julie's Crafton, Lady Tiger, thank you for being number 47. Brian, Hummingbird, Lip Locked, Lori. Well, there's that. CCC, Hershey, Gypsy Soul, Isme Amberly, Rainbow, Donna, Joe Madre, Christy Davison, Darlin Tammy, Denise, J Dub, Angel Chips Delco Green Team Eyebrows. What is you? Okay. J Dub, thank you for being here for 7 months. You're amazing. Thank you. And Merry Christmas to you and yours. Hey, Forever Army. That dude. Bonium. I know. It's one of those things like you look back and the time has gone by. Hey, Grammy Place. Tattoos. Daddy's baby girl. How have you been? Gamers Cruising. Just Samantha. Marcy. Michelle. Good morning to you. Bomba Trucker. Wake up, Maggie. Good morning, everyone. Look at the picture. Somebody's using a Sharpie. Blessed be. Hey, Proud Fur Mom. Blessed be. I do apologize for yesterday losing my crap. I should know better than to go live after being told things like that because obviously I'm going to react. Um, Nobody appreciates their children being spoken of and lied on, most importantly. And what Brittany said about my daughter and a supposed friend of hers is an absolute lie. Just one more lie to add on to my countersuit, but a lie nonetheless. And it's a harmful lie. It's an absolute harmful lie. Such a ridiculous lie. You wouldn't think that you need to send out cease and desist when somebody has you in active litigation, but it seems like that might be the route that we have to take. So you're right, CCC. You're right. And then she puts on this stupid, unknowing attitude and, becomes the victim every single time. It's been like this for years, literally years. Literally years. I've dealt with this for years. Luckily, somebody that has a bunch of stuff from the past is putting together a video to show just that, including her admitting that she can't stop talking about me, even though I don't mention her. So a lot of things are going to come out. A lot of things are going to, a lot of little clip channels are popping up, and I support it. I will advertise them. I will support them. I will play them, and I will not give two shits about doing so. When I see that this person is actively sharing streams of people that strictly go at me, yeah. Well, she's highly mistaken, Blondini. She's highly mistaken. Highly mistaken. So, well, she made up a rumor that my then 14, 15-year-old daughter and her friend trolled as missing children. That's what she said, Michelle. And I'm not going to lie, I'm still pissed about it. Like, I'm really angry about it. But it's all right because all of this will be settled at the end of the day. We know that people on YouTube, they build parasocial relationships or they have strong dislike towards another, so they ignore all the obvious, they deny the obvious, they support blatant lies, whatever it may be. But outside of YouTube, in the real world, um, that's not the way this works. So I'll go ahead and let the courts determine who's the liar, who's defaming who's the aggressor, who's the obsessor, and all the things. We'll let that go ahead and happen. Alabama Nana, thank you for becoming a member. Oh, did you upgrade? Thank you so much. Because here you are for 3 months. Thank you. She did. She made that up, Christina. She took a situation that actually did happen and she twisted it to be more nefarious than it was. That's absolutely what she did. So thank you. Well, there's that. I do appreciate it. Hey, never say never. Butter. Yeah, triggerment. It's gonna happen. Hey, Lauren. Yeah. Hey, Jojo. Did you send me a PayPal? I'm so sorry, Emily. Actually, yesterday, right? Thank you so much. I believe that was you. Thank you. Good morning, Deborah. Kay loves coffee. I'll check the docket right now. I don't know. I know I spoke with my attorneys over the weekend and then again yesterday. So give me 1 second. I will check. If there's any update. I know they plan on it. I just don't know when, obviously. But I'll check for you. Let's see. No, as of right now, they have not submitted their response, but they are working on it. Thank you, Megan. 26 months. Thank you so much. You guys are amazing. I am very blessed to have had an amazing amount of loyal women be by me since day one. Obviously Megan, AT, all of these, and all of you subscribers. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate those of you that, come back around and admit that things were wrong. Didn't get receipt for you, but it billed my account. Really? Was that on the Give Send Go? I can check my email. I'm so sorry. Exactly, Joe Madre. Like I said, it amazes me, and this is all I'm going to say about that. It amazes me that they used a woman's supposed DV situation as a one-up at me, but then you see the abuser literally commenting on their stuff, talking about, I emailed you. If you were really against domestic violence, you would never, ever, ever support the man found guilty of it. CCC, yours did not come through, but thank you so much, Emily Pickles. Yours did. I don't know if you have to reach out to them or something. I don't see it. Hey, Cheesy. Hey, B Tim. Karma, thank you for the 14 months, my friend. Someone told me that my daughter cussed out someone's mom. I was so livid, so my daughter would never do that. Went home, asked, and she said, Mom, I would never do that. She was like 12, 13. Yeah. Just listen, here's like one of the things, right? We always say, leave kids out of it, leave kids out of it. And there she is directly putting accusations on my kids. That's my problem with it. When I speak about Brittany, I speak about Brittany. If I speak about anything, it is Brittany's parenting. I never ever put a blatant accusation against her children. I never have. I never will. I've never attacked those quote unquote kids. I have no reason to do it. They're innocent. They're kids. It's not their fault that they're heard in the background of her streams. It is her fault, but I've never done that. She continuously now speaks directly on my daughter. Directly on my daughter. And that's what I have a problem with. So, and these people are like, leave kids out of it, leave kids out of it. At what point do my kids count as well? Because now you're trying to spread hate amongst my daughter. You are lying on my minor child. That's a problem I have. They can make fun all they want, girl next door. Fact of the matter is, these are people that are miserable online and offline. These are people that have tried for years, well longer than me, to be successful at YouTube, that can't do it. The only way they get any type of views is by getting one targeted person and harping on them for years. They become obsessive, hate-filled, ignorant. They do nothing constructive, not online or offline. I mean, again, the most recent person to come about is a known woman abuser with 3 documented victims. Okay. So let's never forget that. Like, these are the type of people that come online and they project their own disdain for themselves onto others. Well, Robbie, see, you're mistaken, because it's not the big deal that you hear the kids in the background. It's what you hear. It's what you hear. It's what time you hear it. That's what it is. She can have whatever she wants in her background. But this is a public platform, and if people choose to acknowledge what they're hearing in the background, you don't get to cry victim of that. You just don't. So, again, she's welcome to have whatever background noise she wants. But to sit there and say people need to be concerned about my children because you don't hear them? Okay, bitch. I got you. I got you. Well, I'll tell you what, when I do lose my shit, Flower Nana, then I'll cry what victims they are. Okay? Because remember, if I'm this big bad wolf and I'm all these horrible things, who continuously pokes somebody who's supposed to be so horrible? So if I decided tomorrow to come out here and dox all of these people, including these clip channels that believe that they're anonymous, would I be so horrible? Or would that be expected, right? If that's what you say I am, then you shouldn't be shocked if I do it. That's all. I couldn't imagine any of it. Right. That's a huge difference. Thank you, Michelle. Not only am I not speaking bad about her kids, but oh man. No, you're not the weird one. You're not the weird one. Hey, Kraken. So anyway, this whole flashlight, quote unquote flashlight slash trash truck video has everybody in uproars. And what I've come to realize is that these people are so set on what side they're on, right? Well, Robbie, with utmost respect, if you have a child that's always awake, you need to take them to the doctor, okay? Because autism or diagnosis or any of that is not an excuse for a child to not get the proper sleep they need each night. There are many cases of children that are autistic children that are not diagnosed with anything that have trouble sleeping. Their doctors give them prescription medication because kids need their sleep. It is crucial that a child gets a good night's rest for every being, every bit of their being. For their physical well-being, their mental well-being. Children need a good night rest. So just saying my child's autistic, so they're up all night, is not justifiable. It's still lazy parenting at best, okay? So let's stop with the excuses. We are responsible as adults to make sure our children are well rested and can be productive during their day of learning and growing. Children are growing. So if your child is not sleeping and never sleeps, then you need to go ahead and take them to the doctor respectfully. Let's stop making excuses for lazy parenting. Right, you can go buy over the counter melatonin. Take your kids outside to play. Take the electronics away. Get them busy and active. And kids fall asleep. Believe me, they need sleep. It is very crucial they get sleep. They keep talking negative about KP not having bedtime routine that night, but BJ's kids never. How do they know that she didn't have a bedtime routine? She told Sebastian to go to bed. 15 years old, she had him in his bed by 10 p.m. So how are they saying because she as a grown woman didn't go to sleep? Meanwhile, they're in a chat box in the middle of the AM judging her for not sleeping until midnight. This is what I'm talking about. These people have no excuse for the judgments they give because, gosh forbid, anything ever happened to them. People will tear apart the same shit that you're tearing apart. You're not sleeping. You're in a chat box. You mean to tell me that an adult needs to go to bed and have a schedule? It's ridiculous. So Katie told Sebastian to go to bed by 10 p.m. that night, right? She says she heard a noise. I don't care what you're doing in there. Get to bed. He responded back. Katie continues on with whatever she's doing, whether you believe her story or not. She sent him to bed that night. 15, not 5. It happens. Later that night, there's footage. There's footage about flashlights that seem to be, is it flashlights? Is it trash trucks? Whatever it may be. But there's some type of activity going on in the middle of the night. One of the neighbors, after they catch alert of it, go over their cameras and they see this little abnormal behavior in the neighborhood. So instead of taking the whole video from the camera because they don't know how to, they turn around and they record it with their phone. But they only focus on that one part that they find to be suspicious. That's it. They don't focus on the whole camera. They're not recording the whole screen, just that one corner, which is why we end up with a particular video, which I will pull up now. No, please. Right. I get it, JC. I can see why you would. I personally, I don't. If I hear a bang, if I hear a loud noise, I say, what's going on? Are you okay? Was that you? If I get a response, I trust in my child's response that either they're okay or they're not. And that depends on if I get up or not. I'm just going to be honest with you. When anyone asks them a simple question, go back to bed for Seth. Well, that's what I'm saying. At this point, they've done such a good job at creating sides, quote unquote sides, that is ego driven. People are willing to be confirmational bias in a missing child's case because it's convenient. That's it. Not because this was better for Sebastian, not because, maybe they're wrong. No, because at this point it's egos. So they're not going to admit they're wrong. They're not going to admit they're at fault. They're not going to admit anything. And it's horrible because the only person that's affected and at the end of it is Sebastian. No, I don't even believe when people say they do. I don't. I don't. 15 kids can talk, so no reason for us to jump up and run at every little sound, right? Especially if there's a response. I don't think that's, Now, given the fact that he disappeared that same night, that sound is crucial. But on any given other night, these parents claiming they would have ran and checked, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe they would. How? I don't believe they do in regular circumstances. Right, Lolly. A bedtime routine, the whole house goes down, lights turned out, you got to create the environment to get the results. There's no justification for it. I don't care what anybody says. I get that, Mimi. I'm sorry that happened to you. Lights were around 5:10 a.m. He showed other footage from a different. Yeah, we're gonna get into all of that. So let me first pull up the first alleged flashlight video. I'll tell you, people just. And I don't know what Nick's talking about, oh, SF silenced me and la di da di da. But if that's the case, if you're claiming somebody has the power to silence you and use their, whatever kind of excuse you're trying to give, called my probation officer, whatever it may be, then go after that person. Stop sitting here stirring up trouble, accusing everybody else for your downfalls. I mean, at some point, creators have to take accountability, and you are responsible for your behaviors. People can't just call somebody and get you in trouble. Your behaviors can get you in trouble. They don't just take the word of strangers. Sorry, I'm pulling this up. All right. So let's look at this original supposed flashlight video. Now, again, what we do know is that the original was just a corner of it. Okay? Just a corner of it. Well, you're going so far to criticize what the woman is eating or not eating. And again, they don't have the whole footage. They don't even have the whole footage to know what she ate or she didn't eat. And one clip, there's no food in front of them, and there's only one drink. And the second clip, there's a ton of drinks and plates. Right, that's end of, Sarah. I mean, that's exactly right. Easy street, because a challenge would be too much work for them. You know what it is, Striker? It's like being so headstrong that you will. I mean, it's ego, is all it is. That's all you can say it is. Mob Crew has never been there in person. Mob Crew asked somebody who lives local to give him footage, and that person did. All right, so this is like the more spanned out original fitted. But what you'll still see is this is a recording of a recording. Nonetheless, this is what went around. There's no sound to it. You see how like it's slowly moving? That's the person's hand holding the recording. And you know how your phone, if you're like trying to take a picture of something, you know how your phone kind of zooms in and then it tries to autofocus? I think that's what this phone's trying to do here, is trying to autofocus. So you'll see it kind of bounce. So again, you can tell by over here is a recording of a recording. Now up here's the flashlight or whatever you want to call it. It's the light movement. Now what they originally did is they only recorded this top part because they found that to be important because that's where the so-called lights are coming from. I'm not gonna lie, to me it looks like a flashlight. It does. Hey, Pristine, trying to see the light. You can see when maybe there's trees or it stops right there. But I only see one light footage. I don't see two. It is also trying to autocorrect the lighting. Not a fan of anyone's narrative on the lights. Yeah, well, I also want to point this out because boy, does somebody argue the hell out of me with this. Um, Flashlight 1 ever actually moved is on the far right side of the screen next to the 25 on a little calendar. Flashlight 2 appears about 10 seconds in and it definitely moving. For anyone new here, this was filmed by the camera on the garage of 101 Stratford Lane. Diagram attached to approximate angle of the camera view. So this is before anybody else came out and said anything differently. So they're claiming this is the camera view. This wide angle. And that this red is what they caught. So they're highlighting, here's vehicles, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the angle is supposed to be, I don't know if the angle would be that wide. I mean, I don't know. I feel like you have to be there. Hey, FSU girl. Holding your cell phone, zoom in the top corner, recording that portion of the video to share. Do it right now. Pull out your cell phones. If you're not on your cell phone, if you're on any type of laptop, computer, or anything, take it out or do it at another time. Take your phone over to your TV, put the TV on, and try to record something. Watch how your phone will try to auto focus onto whatever it is. There's going to be things that are just simply not correct because of that. NetX3, thank you so much. 14 months, thank you. I think the only narrative SF is trying to push is the truth. I know people feel differently because they think that he's tied in with the Proudfoots and la-di-da, so that right away gets him dismissed. But I think if SF felt like the Proudfoots were guilty, he would say that. I don't think he's one just to lie. Like, he's not parasocially attached to these parents. Nobody should be. It's fucking weird. Now, look, so see over here. This is the real footage. See the trash cans here? Trash cans. And then you look over here. You can't see the trash cans because they zoomed in. So they basically recorded only part of a footage. Now, I'll be honest. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to a crime case. I find it extremely far too odd that you see any type of movement, the only type of movement, on the night that a child seemingly just vanished. I don't get mad at you for that, Betty. It's coming up because SF Investigates, who's a actual credentialed private investigator, has been in Tennessee trying to figure out what the hell went on that night. And while doing that, he went around, he collected footage, he went around and he reenacted things. And one of the things he reenacted was the alleged flashlight video. Yeah, I do believe a car pulled up there. I mean, I do. I do. I have no reason not to. Piasco is evidence, right? Thank you, Lindsay. Good to see you. Let's get the thumbs up a little bit higher. If you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do. All right, so let's see what else we can pull up regarding this. All right, here's a few more videos that came out because at first we only had the one. And again, Sheriff Craddock did ask Nick Beres to remove it because I'll be honest, I don't think we were supposed to say it. I do believe it's evidence. I do. I don't think we were meant to see it. I don't think we're meant to talk about it. I don't think that the police wanted anybody to know what they have. I know that Sheriff Craddock admitted that he has things that he's not going to release to the public as he shun it because they, at the end of the day, need to get answers. And if a conviction is needed, that's what they need. But here we are anyway. So here's one. Again, you see the side of the house. Now see them zoom in. You literally see them zoom in. It is a footage of footage, a recording of a recording. So they zoom in, and this is how everybody focused just on this. You can see the person recording's shadow. See it? Looks like they're wearing a white t-shirt. Here's their hand. You can literally see the outline of the person. Now, if I wanted to be conspiracious, I would say, there it is. You can literally see the person. That's who did it. But we're not. We're not, and we're not stupid. So we're going to go with facts. The fact is, you can see the outline of the person recorded. So now they're shaking a little bit because, your hands hold up phones. JLR is the only person I know that can hold a phone that straight. Now they're backing back out. And again, here's the person recording it. One more time. Here's, you can see that is on a computer or something. They're like, there goes the headlights turn on. You tell me that's not headlights turning on. Right there. That's not a flashlight. And if it was, that'd be one hell of a flashlight. We don't use it to find Sebastian. The police do. None of us are ever going to find Sebastian, unfortunately. We might find clues or get tips or see something, say something type of situation. But as far as internet sleuthing goes to actually find Sebastian, none of us have that ability. We just won't. And at this point, with so many ridiculous phone calls that go to the Sumner County, you got people from Canada, you got people that don't even live in the States demanding their time because they want to talk about YouTube drama with the police as if they're not busy enough. So at this point, even if we do have something crucial, that the odds of them taking it serious are slim to none because their tip lines have been filled up with fallacies from the very start. Yeah, if you'd like to come up, I'd absolutely love to have you. All right, so the lights turn on. Let's go back a little bit. There goes the light. Could be anything, though. It could literally be the taxi driver or slash Uber person. It could be somebody leaving their house. We don't know. But lights definitely turn on. So let's go to the next video. And remember, we're getting these in like increments of seconds. So they're not even full. They're not even full video. There's something lit up this area. Can you see that over here? Something lit up. That light's on. Whatever caused that light to come on is on. Again, this person's a little shaky. They're recording and recording. You see it move all over. At first you see this, by the end you don't. So they're kind of moving about, doing their thing. And then this is them saying again, the outline. Naomi, thank you so much. Hope you're doing okay and all this shit. You are loved. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's easy to focus on the negative. So I do appreciate all of you that send, your signs of support, emails, everything. It means a lot to me. Thank you. What event triggered this recording to start? I think when the police started asking for footage, they realized, oh, wow, this is weird. There are 3 total, all taken from the same camera, all slightly different. 34-second video. This is a video clip that shows the mysterious car taillights, front lights spontaneously light up. That mystery car is stopped in the road in the general area of the red circle in the diagram. So let me pull this back up. So they're saying that car pops up over here in this area. BG Keen, thank you so much. 10 months of being an MFer. Look at you. Would you look at you? Thank you. 19-second video. This video clip is the full frame of the flashlight 1 and 2 video. Yellow circle in the diagram is 2 lights that Nick video are zoomed in on. Looks like there's only one moving light. The 12-second video clip is the flashlight allegedly running back to the house video. Tiny light can be seen moving quickly in the dark area towards the top. So let's look at this again. This is the one that they're saying you can see something run. Top corner. Look for a light running. I don't see it. I don't see it. Do you see it? I don't see it. I don't see it. Barbara, thank you so much. Thank you. Jax, thank you. I'll take a look for it. Thank you, guys. I'm telling you right now, I helped Mob Crew because he wants to bring Sebastian home, just like all of us. It's everyone else that continues to worry about who is on what side, man. I only care about bringing Sebastian home. Yeah, that is exactly what happens. It becomes a, you know, it's egos. It's egos at this point. The car is sitting across from the mailbox directly behind the Challenger. All right, let's see. I don't see what appears to be a moving light. I just don't see it. So you said the car is sitting across from the mailbox directly behind the Challenger. I do believe that the police have this. I don't. The light, aka the flashlight on the right, doesn't move. It's completely stationary. It's moving, just an illusion on the cropped version because the video isn't stabilized. There's only one flashlight. All right, let's check this one out again. So first I'm going to show you what everybody put out and what ran around. Okay. So this is where people say there's 2 flashlights moving. You got to remember how zoomed in this is. So there's the light. And here's a light, allegedly. I personally, how many lights do you see moving? Put it in chat. Do you see 1 or do you see 2? The car illuminates the back of the truck when its lights turn on. I see that, yeah. Listen, I have no doubt in my mind, in my opinion, this is crucial. I with utmost respect, you all know that I have respect for SF. I have respect for Stephen Crabtree. But I'm not. And listen, here's the thing, though. Neither of them are saying this is a trash truck. Nobody's saying that except for these people that always have to add on, right? All they're saying is we have reason to believe that this light could come from these different places, and they still never said a trash truck. And yet people run and say that's what they said. It's truly amazing how people, hear what they want to hear or create something out of nothing. But let's go ahead and see this again. The actual footage zoomed out, a recording of the recording without them zooming into this top corner. One more time, because I know it gets tiresome. A lot of you still see 2 lights. Interesting. How many of you think this is evidence? Drop a 3 if you think this is evidence. Drop a 4 if you think it's nothing. So there it is again, right? Without this person zooming all the way in, the one light doesn't seem to move. Now, a car definitely comes. There's no doubt in my mind a car comes. Can we get a 5 if you think a car came? We're just going to go all the way up to 10. Yeah, we're going to get to that, Colleen. All right, let me pull this up for everybody. I had somebody telling me repeatedly that Sheriff Craddock said that it was a trash truck. And I said, no, he didn't. What he did say is he's not going to comment on it. But they kept, bringing it up. I respectfully told them to go back and watch again. You're going to hear differently. But again, people are at this point, they have their minds made up. They believe what they believe. And
absolutely no.
All right, ready?
The searchers recently found a pair of glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate.
Any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video.
So here's the layout of the neighborhood, right? Now, Stephen, can you help me understand which house this light would have came from based off this map? Has videos out there about him, about Dylan. I said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Look at these properties. So if this is somebody's door, right? You guys see where my mouse is? I wish I knew how to make my mouse bigger, but if this is somebody's door and they have a camera on it, a ring bell, look at the distance to the street. There's not really sidewalk. This idea that people are shocked that no ring Kims would pick up Sebastian blows my mind because, again, look how big these property lines are. You got to remember, this is a big-ass pool, and it looks rather small from up here. These are big property lines. I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked that they want to pick up a figure at night. Hey, New Leaf. Trash truck was there at 5 a.m., not 3. Yes. Which, again, Seth Rogers himself said. Right? Seth Rogers himself said this was a trash truck. Twice. 2 different interviews. I don't know, CCC. If you're not happy with what I'm doing today, you can respectfully come back another time. But continuously asking me why I'm doing something when I'm going through why I'm doing it is kind of a little bit infuriating. I mean, honestly, it's very disrespectful. It doesn't matter many times you ask. I'm not going to say, okay, you're right. CCC doesn't want me to do this today, so let's just exit out. I have a purpose with what I'm doing. If you let me respectfully go through my show, by the end of it, you may understand. Oof. All right. I've said a million times I have my ring set to not pick up traffic in road, right? Because then your camera goes off all the time, right? I mean, I get it. Well, and that's the thing. They're attacked because of who they quote unquote support. Right? So it's like if you supposedly support, because they just say that if you don't accuse any of these parents of doing something wrong, then you were accused of supporting them. Well, I've never accused Seth Rogers of being responsible, and I clearly don't support Seth. So because I don't support Seth, that means I must support the Proudfoots. But no, that's not the way it fucking works, man. Thank you, Ange Carter. Thank you so much. Sorry, CCC. All right. I misunderstood. I just saw you ask it a few times. I apologize. Where we go from here is the truth. That's what we're going to do. We're going to get to the truth because at the end of the day, this idea that we have to deceive the public and paint one narrative over the other, despite all the obvious, is a bit infuriating. Notice how they left out the person running back to the house. That possibly, we'll get to that as well. Anyway, listen to what Craddock says here.
Obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see 2 suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said
no evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Can you tell me what those lights are? No. The only reason people started saying trash trucks is because Christopher Proudfoot and Seth Rogers came out here and said it was trash trucks. Law enforcement did not. Law enforcement never, ever said that this was a trash truck. It doesn't matter how many times you go around in a chat box claiming that Craddock said it. He did not. He said he will not come. He won't tell you what it is. And then he's going to be asked why. Let's listen again.
Home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said
No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
that easy.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
so many are, of course, closely following this case.
How
Would I have liked a more direct answer? Of course. But unfortunately, what he just said is fact. We don't know what we don't know. We don't know if this is, right now, it's not evidence. Right now, it's not. But it could be. It could become, which I believe he's lying. I'm not going to lie. I believe, because you have to remember, the police can lie to us. There's an absolute reason why Craddock asked that this video be removed off the internet. Rather that be because it was creating unnecessary speculation. Maybe it was leading to unnecessary phone calls to the area, to the police, or because it's the only evidence they have of the night a child disappeared. Or because of this, because people started calling the trash company. Shit. Hey, good morning. All right, give me one quick second. The speculation, the calling of the trash companies, all of that. Now you got to remember, you're being led to believe this is 3 a.m. because that's what that footage says. But Seth Rogers himself stated that he watched over, how many minutes did he say? I forget what he said, but he said the camera time never changed. And then he literally had a smirk on his face and said it was faulty equipment. So again, this came from Seth. Trash truck came from Seth and Chris. Why? Why do they want you to believe it's a trash truck? Or better yet, ask yourselves why they believed it was a trash truck. Right, Gloria, because Seth said that he saw not one, but 2 videos.
There's been an exhaustive search for Sebastian Rogers, but with few updates from authorities in recent weeks, some have wondered, is enough being done?
We're doing everything we can do. Every time a tip comes in, we follow up on it.
Eric Craddock is chief deputy with the Sumner County Sheriff's Office and heads up the investigation. He sat down for an exclusive one-on-one to talk about what they do when there are few new leads.
I think in the absence of information, what we'll continue to do is go back over everything we've already done once, put a fresh set of eyes on it.
To that end, Craddock says searchers recently found a pair of glasses, which they are checking to see if they belong to Sebastian. He says the parents continue to fully cooperate.
any evidence of foul play?
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see 2 suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said
No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
so many are, of course,
So there you have it. Now, what I don't understand as well, where did Chris ever say publicly that it was a trash truck? I don't think they were lying about it either. I don't think they had a reason to lie about it. I think they believed what they were told. Let me pull this up. Give me just a minute. All right, right here. Set it on gray hues. Okay, that's right. We're going to pull that up as well. So I know he says it here.
Allegedly, people are getting followed who are just passing out flyers, volunteers that are just contributing in trying to find your son. That's very odd. Have you seen anything like that yourself? Have you been followed?
Can't intimidate me. I have a goal in mind.
Gotcha. Have you already reported that? Because that basically says yes to me. So have you reported that at all to TBI or any law enforcement at all that you have been followed?
Yeah.
Has it changed as of late, or are you still getting followed?
I haven't been followed today.
When
But-
you go ahead.
Today, if they wanted to know where I've been, I mean, they can ask me. Whoever wants to follow me, I was at church 3 times today. It's Good Friday. Time to go to Mass.
Right on. When did you
Did
report
you
that?
Mass?
Go ahead. What were you saying?
Did you go to Mass?
Not yet. I'm a bad boy. I'm burning in the fiery pits of hell. I know.
I'll get down and help make sure that you don't stay there long.
I appreciate that, my brother. I appreciate that. But when did you go ahead? Say that again.
It's always time to change.
Right. Always time. But when did you report to TBI that you were actually getting followed? Was that yesterday or was that a few days ago?
I've reported some license plate numbers to TBI. I let them know a couple weeks ago that some of my volunteers were being followed.
Mm. That's just crazy to me. Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
That's very, very weird. We might circle back to that question here in a second, or at least that topic here in a second. But I do have some questions. I know that there has been some updates. You and Katie Proudfoot, at least Katie Proudfoot, were in the same room with TBI, and they gave you some updates. Can you tell me anything that came of that conversation with TBI?
The video with the 2 flashlights on there, they showed me the whole video. And then they showed me the video in the daylight too. And it wasn't flashlights. It was literally the video that was showed to the public was like a small little portion of the screen, not the whole actual screen. And it was a trash truck. It came showed to the public was like a small little portion of the screen, not the whole actual screen. And it was a trash truck. It came through. It's why it was slow at the beginning, because it was picking up trash. And then after they picked up trash, when it came back, they were dipping out of the neighborhood.
Interesting. Because, okay, so we've seen that video. We've all seen at least what Nick Beres put out here. Now, and you're trying to explain it a little bit. I hope you can explain a little bit more. When you went and saw it with TBI, the nighttime stuff, the flashlight, the stuff that looked like fireflies, for crying out loud, in the black abyss, was that the full picture, or was that a cropped video?
That was like a 3x5 of a full TV screen.
Really?
Yes.
The stuff that looked like fireflies, for crying out loud, in the black abyss, was that the full picture, or was that a cropped video?
That was like a 3x5 of a full TV screen.
Really?
Yes.
So okay, so it was a cropped segment, or a cropped section of a very big picture.
I mean, I've seen some people actually sit there and talk about, well, the trash don't run at 3:15 in the morning. You're right. It runs between 5 and 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
But the whole time that I watched this, the time on the DVR that they had stayed 311 for like 15 minutes.
Okay. So
So
it's
broke equipment.
so it's broken. Okay. So it stayed at 311 for the whole time. So 3 o'clock was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little bit earlier. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little. Okay, so it was a cropped segment or a cropped section of a very big picture.
I mean, I've seen some people actually sit there and talk about, well, the trash don't run at 3:15 in the morning. You're right. It runs between 5 and 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
But the whole time that I watched this, the time on the DVR that they had stayed 311 for like 15 minutes.
Okay. So
So broke equipment.
So it was broken. Okay. So it stayed at 311 for the whole time. So 3 o'clock was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
And of course, again, this was a cropped video from a very, very big video.
Yes.
Okay.
I honestly think somebody did it for clickbait. I mean,
I see. Okay. So then,
he
okay.
wanted people to log in to follow. And
Right.
if he's watching this now, he knows why I'm not answering his phone calls.
Oh, I see. No, I get that. But okay, then tell me this.
Need is false information and something that's going on trying to find my son.
I can understand getting upset about that for sure. I definitely can. But there is actual movement in that area. If he didn't know, I could see that. But, I could see a little mistake happening there. But as far as the rest of the image, right? Because it was only cropped with a bunch of, with those 2 white dots floating around for 2 seconds, right?
All right. Sorry, guys. Sorry. I had to take a phone call. And no, it wasn't a packet. It wasn't something telling me what to say. It wasn't anything like that. It was just an important phone call. I apologize. But I played for you all here. Seth, very adamant. Matter of fact, he's so adamant that he's smiling about it. He is so confident that he knows what this footage is, right? I apologize. You guys are in the chat like, what's going on, Granny? We stuck on loop. But I just find this to all be so important. Look at his face here. Look at him. He's damn near smiling. What we do know, and there's no denying, is that headlights come on. Nobody's questioning the headlights? Come on.
Just don't run at 3:15 in the morning. You're right. It runs between 5 and 5:30 in the morning.
5 and 5:30 in the morning. What does SF say over here? 5:09 to 5:10 a.m. So Seth Rogers himself is telling you all what time the police run, right? Yali, do me a favor. Stop writing the R word in my chat, please. There's other words you can use. Replace that. It's 2024. Please replace that word from your vocabulary. So even SF's over here saying, yeah, 5:09 to 5:10 is what we're looking at. Seth over here is telling you the same thing.
Right.
But the whole time that I watched this, the time on the DVR that they had stayed 311 for like 15 minutes.
Yeah, sure, nonsense. Thank you.
Broke equipment.
So it was broken
equipment. And then look.
Okay. So
broke equipment.
So it was broken. Okay.
I'm so glad his shoulder no longer has to wave all the time at us, but there it is. Hey, Sayward. Hey, Salty Mamas. Kelly Olivia. He did get very angry. He goes on to put him down in this.
So it stayed at 311 for the whole time. So 3 o'clock was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was
Look at that weird thing right here. Watch right here.
Came in.
Right up on
these garbage men came.
Look at that. Is that one of those weird drone things? Because look, it just disappears. Watch.
In and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on.
Isn't that weird? You guys see that? As a side note, but do you see that? That was weird to me. Hey, Titanium. Ellie only one. Rose of Sharon. Huntress, good to see you. Choo Choo. Huffy Gal. Celia. Absolutely sorry for your loss, Rose. I couldn't fathom.
A little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
And of course, again, this was a cropped video from a very, very big video.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I honestly think somebody did it for clickbait. I mean,
Somebody did it for clickbait. Oh, is this the same time the neighbor put their trash bins out and went to work? Oh.
I see. Okay. So then,
he
okay.
wanted people to log in to follow. And
Right.
if he's watching this, now he knows why I'm not answering his phone calls.
Oh, Nick Beres. Now you know why he's not answering your phone calls. Woo! Hey, buddy. You tell him.
Oh, I see. No, I get
Look,
that.
look at, I mean, this is a revengeful man. This man holds on to anger. Look at his eyes right there. Look at his face. Now he knows why I'm not answering his phone call. Death stare. Oh.
But okay, then tell me this.
It is false information and something that's going on trying to find my son.
Giving out false information when something's going on and we're trying to find my son. Huh.
I can understand getting upset about that for sure.
But now he's not upset when his friends are running around saying now that his flashlights, he's not upset about it. Why not? Why not? Did you convince enough people that you had nothing to do with that night that now you're not angry about it? It's weird. Keep that energy. You say here that it's trash trucks. The footage was broke.
But there is actual movement in that area. If he didn't know, I could see that. But, I could see a little mistake happening there. But as far as the rest of the image, right? Because it was only cropped with a bunch of, with those 2 white dots floating around for 2 seconds, right? What does the rest of the picture that you saw look like? Is it just pitch black or was there movement elsewhere?
It's dark because it's at night. But you can make out the road.
You can make out the road.
So it's like whoever shared it with Nick and Nick put it out, you could see the whole road. There was nothing there. There was no cars on that road. There was no movement on the road.
That's a weird statement because, again, put a 1 in the chat if you see headlights go on. But he's saying you can see the road, there's no movement. Why are people negating this now? Why would he have motive to lie then or lie now? Which one would be truth?
Except for the trash truck. That was it.
Gotcha.
The trash truck.
Okay. But you also saw footage from during the day as well, right? You just said that. It was nighttime and day.
Yeah, because what they wanted to do is they showed me the footage for the night, and then they turned around and they took from the same camera video footage from the day and showed me where the markings and everything were.
Are you listening? They took the same thing I've been saying. Without footage of the daytime, we can't really tell. But here you have him telling you the police took footage from the same exact camera, same exact angle, same exact everything, and showed him why, without a doubt, it was trash trucks. He's adamant about it. He saw it.
Camera video footage from the day and showed me where the markings and everything were, so that I had no doubt in my mind.
No doubt in his mind. No doubt. Why is there doubt now? Because you have to keep the topic going. You have to keep the blame going to Chris and Katie. Why now?
Gotcha.
Because some of those lights actually stay stationary.
Mm-hmm.
They're on throughout the night and throughout the day. And they literally showed me where it was. And I've been in that neighborhood. I even knew what house it was. As soon as I saw it, I recognized the house. So I knew the angle.
He already knew the angle of the cameras, guys. Why are we taking this away?
Because the angle's coming from at the end of the street. It's not pointing at like a common section. It's just
There.
literally at the
Right there. He tells you it's not pointed at a common section. That area they keep calling the common area where you see flashlights running, it has to be Sebastian being chased down by allegedly Katie. He's telling you right now the camera's not even facing that.
house. So I knew the angle. Because the angle's coming from at the end of the street. It's not pointing at like a common section. It's just literally at the end of the street so that the owner can watch all their vehicles.
Right. Boom. Exactly what I've been saying. They're not spying on their neighbors. They're watching their cars. Right. He knows the angles.
Gotcha. Wow. Okay. And for everyone who's watching the show, just tuning in just right now, this is the biological father of Sebastian Rogers. Just so you guys know, he is boots on the ground.
Boots on the ground at a gas station, Pascal. Stop it.
Hendersonville, doing everything he can to find his son.
Oh.
He has been missing for the past month now. It's, I'm sure, extremely daunting. As you can tell,
this is a month in. So at this point, we're not so hateful towards Chris and Katie as we are now, right? So what do you think? You think he was lying then to create a narrative, or you think he's going along now to create a narrative? Pascal jumped out of this.
Seth, I mean, I can't wait for you to have an actual good night's rest. I know that.
All right. So there's that, right? We can't deny that. You can't say it didn't happen. You have Seth saying it. Now, let's go over here. Let's take a little road trip. All right.
Or let everybody else do it, and then you go on their show and it's like, oh, hey, how are you doing? Yeah, it's been super nice, blah, blah, blah. You're being very helpful.
We'll have so much
and
fun.
Then the next day they turn around and start running you right back through the mud.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you kidding
like
me?
Smiley did to y'all?
Yeah.
She ain't the only one. There's many of them out there.
But that shows motive in what they're doing, that they're not out to help Sebastian. That's just creating something out of nothing, right? They're trying to create something out of nothing.
It's fattening their pocket.
So now this is Chris Proudfoot speaking, okay? We're going to hear what he thinks.
Yeah.
Exactly what it's doing.
So I hate to do this. Is there any way, and I'm so detailed oriented and I'm sorry, and you can say no. Is there any way we can talk about that garbage truck that comes in the middle of the night? Is that
who left because of the drama? It's all such a mess and a mind F. It is. What time exactly did trash truck run on the street that morning? Yeah, 5:09. 5:09. Neighbor's house next to Proudfoot's while aimed at the cars in the driveway. It captures a bit of it. Oh, Pascal, yeah. Okay.
something that's been over talked? Ladies, let me know if it's too much.
What do you want to know?
Gray Hughes talks about it.
Whatever he's comfortable with, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? It's just completely up to him. Whatever he's comfortable answering, you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I just don't want to do drama. I like facts.
It's not drama. I mean,
Yeah.
trust me.
Who's the lady speaking right now asking these questions? She did a great job. I don't recognize the voice.
I'll let you know if we can go down the road or not. I mean,
Yeah. No, I want to know, like, because, okay, I'm just fascinated by what we have and what we don't have, right? And
Okay.
so when you go down and you look at that footage, it looks like it cuts through the neighborhood, but because it's not like an aerial, it's from somebody's point of view that we see that camera footage, correct? Whose
Are you
point
talking
of
about you talking about the
garbage
one
truck.
footage that everybody says was flashlight?
Yes,
with the
yes,
lights.
yes,
Look,
correct.
on this
Yes.
right here, you mean right here? These
Correct.
lights here?
Correct.
Yes,
So-
that's been debunked. Gray Hughes did this. This is his video, but he debunked it with Chris. Him and Chris both did.
Hey, Kingfley, welcome.
Okay, so
Thank you.
basically
Hey,
that's
Ryan.
just the garbage truck because it's in the middle of the night. Did they really come that early in the morning at your house? I mean, it's like ridiculous if that's the truth.
So no, it's not ridiculous. You got to understand something. We're not in a city.
Right, they're outside of town.
So I live outside of city limits.
Yeah, you're not in Davidson County, right? Yeah.
No, I'm in Sumner County.
Yeah.
Please don't jeopardize Sumner and Davidson is the same county. God, please don't.
Oh, come on now. Don't do me
No, I
like
live in Davidson. Come on.
that.
I know the difference. I know the difference.
My father lives in Davidson County, so
Yeah.
All right, come on, Chris. Answer the damn question.
I've lived there.
Wow.
Hey, Scotty.
I went to Hunter's Lane. I ain't scared to say it.
All right.
You know, I know where you're going. That's good. But no, I mean, so outside of city limits, we don't have city garbage trucks. You have to have a privatized trash company come by and pick up your trash.
Yeah.
The trash company we use has a good proportion of the county that they do the trash. And they have to start at very, very dark 30 in the morning to get to all of the routes they have to get to in a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's common to see them out that early.
Okay. So this is 100% garbage, nothing else at all.
What? That's a garbage truck?
Yes. Yes.
It is absolutely a garbage truck.
Okay.
There you have it, right? He's telling you as well. So the only reason we have this idea of it being a trash truck is because of Seth and Chris. They're the ones that said it. Not Craddock. Craddock said, no, I'm not telling you what it is. So why are these two men telling everybody it's trash trucks? Are they telling the truth? Did law enforcement tell them that? Or are they distracting from what it really is? That's what it comes down to. Right, even Bobby Binoculars, the nosy over-involved neighbor.
Just want to know.
Yeah.
Because it looks a little bit like, people, I thought was somebody walking their dog. That made more sense to me, in the middle of the night, somebody worked early and go out, walk their dog. But of course, I believe you.
So here's the one element about that video that most people haven't thought about. That.
All right, so now let's go to what SF says, because there's a reason. Although I did not watch it, I received comments about a counter narrative from a YouTube channel tonight regarding my tweet yesterday about the supposed 3 a.m. vehicle seen in the Stafford Court neighborhood. For reasons unknown, some creators are attempting to tie the 3 a.m. vehicles to a video referred to as the lights video. Now, I told you all before, right? Hey, Lori. I told you all before that SF never tied the cars to the light video. For whatever reason, these people always add on to a narrative, right? So SF is saying we know who the vehicles were. We know without a doubt who they were, what they were, who was driving these cars. He never said the two coexist. He never said the two go together. All right, so let's go on. So he continues on by saying the lights video was captured by a camera with a broken timestamp. I take you all back to what Seth Rogers just told you. While it shows the 3 a.m. hour, it was not taken at that time. Based on the footage from more than 4 other cameras in the area, we know the video was recorded at approximately 5:09 to 5:10 a.m. I've attached a short video showing a trash truck traveling down Kellen Lane at 5:09 a.m. Seconds later, the truck takes a right turn on the Stafford Court. By 5:12 a.m., it's nearly in front of Sebastian's house. I've again attached a screenshot. The house that captured the lights video is located between these 2 points, so it's reasonable to conclude the lights video was taken around 5:10 a.m., and the owner of the video has stated clearly that the original video shows the trash truck driving through the frame, but that was cut out of the version you were seeing. So now the owner is saying this. There were 2 vehicles in the neighborhood during the 3 a.m. hour. We have accounted for these cars, the drivers, and their activities. The lights video and the 3 a.m. vehicles that people are referencing are 2 separate events. So here he attached an image showing the exact surveillance camera as it was mounted on the house. This image captures the exact angle and position of the camera that captured the lights video. During the recreation, all factors were considered, including the camera's field of view, which arcs out roughly 37.5 degrees from the center line of the lens. 75-degree field of view. If you believe that 37.5 degrees is wide enough to see the backyard of a house 2 houses away and around a curve, that is your interpretation. At no point did I claim that the lights in the video were of a trash truck. In fact, I repeatedly stated that what the lights represent is open to interpretation, and I was reserving mine, so it does not sway opinion. Showing the trash truck's lights and its lighting patterns should be considered a read between the lines moment. A trash truck has 8 to 10 lights on its back, yet these are not visible in the lights video. So let's see. Damn, that trash truck's flying. Check that out. Here's the actual camera. There they are showing you they're at the same height angle as that camera. This is redacted by SM Investigates for whatever reason. This is at 5:12. This is the trash truck lights. You guys see it? We can see the trash truck here. Light, 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 light. I think when we think of a trash truck going down, I don't know about you all, but I'm thinking of them like going rather slow. This came flying by. What do you guys think of that? Could that have been what lit up the house? Of course it could. And then if you imagine this being at nighttime, their lights reflect onto these windows. See? Which could make it appear like 2 separate lights. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, see the reflection back on this window here? Watch. They continue to reflect off these windows. Imagine if this was nighttime. Even continues onto this house, although I passed it. So, I don't know. Also, if the trash truck is parked, it has flashing lights per policy. You guys get what I'm saying there? Lights reflection on cars and windows. Thank you, MJ's Life. I hope you're doing well. It's good to see you. I think that's why the rubbish dump was checked, because of the truck being in the area. Right, and that could be several things. That could be either, as reported, allegedly the Proudfish trash can was heavier than normal, right? Or it could be maybe the way that truck came flying down, if there was a child and it's dark, because remember, that footage is dark. Gosh forbid something nefarious happened. Accidentally rained. I don't even want to think about it. But I mean, there's so many scenarios still. Hey, Google me. It's good to see you. We can get the thumbs up a little bit higher. There's over 1,000 people in here. Let's take a moment. Hit that thumbs up. If you want your trash to be picked up, hit the thumbs up. If you want your trash spilled all over your property, hit the thumbs down. But no, look at that. The lights continue. Now, from what SF is saying, this is the same angle. Where'd it go? I've again attached a screenshot of it nearly in front of Sebastian's house. I've attached a short video showing a trash truck traveling down Kelly Lane at 5:09 a.m. Seconds later, the truck takes a right turn on Stafford Court. By 5:12 a.m., it's nearly in front of Sebastian's house. Despite this, I was told tonight that I claimed the lights were from a trash truck. This is completely false and irresponsible. In fact, he has completely missed the point. In reality, I was agreeing with him. He just wanted to be a counter narrative, so he spun mine a different direction. Such narratives do not help find Sebastian. Because again, it is popular. It is popular to go against SF because he is deemed the Proudfoots. That's so stupid. So stupid. But all right, let's hear it again.
It runs between 5 and 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
But the whole time that I watched this, the time on the DVR that they had stayed 3:11 for like 15 minutes.
Okay. So
So broke equipment.
So it was broken. Okay. So it stayed at 3:11 for the whole time. So 3 o'clock was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
And of course, again, this was a cropped video.
And again, it was a cropped video. So Seth Rogers telling you all too, but you don't want to listen. Because without that footage, you can't claim something nefarious. You can't claim you see Sebastian, being taken out by Katie, who met with Chris. You can't. Because they debunked it. The two men closest to this investigation debunked it. They debunked it by stating that police showed them footage to prove that it was a trash truck. Came out of their own mouths. Can't deny it. To further prove that creators suspending a false narrative create drama, and for the sake of transparency, here are 2 screenshots from the report I finalized with an analyst I work with about the lights video. So, light pattern analyst. Analysts of the light pattern shown in surveillance footage captured from the corner of Kellen and Stafford Court, February 26, 2024. AI models were used to analyze the pixel level of the video and track size, movements, deviations, and other data available to determine the likely source of each light source analyzed. Pixel level analysis and our contour detection techniques were applied to track positional changes across frames, enabling accurate measurements of light source movement and variability. Light source 1, minimal height of 0.66 feet standard deviation, suggests steady behavior, potentially stationary, or slow walking with a firm grip. Light 2, height fluctuations and dynamic behavior align with walking or more active movement. So they're not saying it's a trash truck, obviously. Consistent cycles of height variations. Up, down, over frames, erratic, regular steps, erratic movement. Lower bound, 5.5 feet if the flashlight is held at or slightly above shoulder. I don't understand. This don't make sense to me. Based on the analysis of the video, light source 1 is most likely a stationary mounted light source, such as security flood, porch light, yada yada. In contrast, light 2 exhibits dynamic behavior with significant height fluctuations, 6.5 foot and 8.5 foot, and lateral motion that align with human walking patterns. This strongly indicates it is a handheld flashlight, actively used by a person moving through the area. The variability in light source 2's behavior suggests it is being held at shoulder or head level by an individual, possibly scanning or navigating the environment. The person holding a light source 2 is most likely around 5.5 foot to 6 feet tall, with a higher likelihood closer to 5.5 feet if the flashlight is regularly held at shoulder level. All right, so that's interesting. So what they're depicting here would be like this image. Like the flashlight, at the shoulder It would be like a search in. Yeah, that's interesting. It's not a trash truck, as Seth and Chris both stated. Then the only conclusion would be that both men are lying. You have to ask why. Yeah, I agree. Hey, what the crack? I agree. What do you guys think? I mean, this is what they're showing it to look like. That's a little interesting. Who would hold a flashlight that way? Very, very interesting. What do you guys think of that? 36 months. Holy shit. What the crock. Love you, girl. Thank you. Right, there's more video. We haven't seen the whole thing. If any flashlight, it workers' headlamps. Hey, Johnny. You know what? Because I think they're building a case. I think they know it. No, apparently the flashlight Sebastian had was like a little dinky, one of those little cheapy type of lights. Have a good day, Ryan. Date was wrong too, he said in the same interview. Do you think the police showed them different footage of a different day because they were angry that this footage got put publicly and it is evidentiary value? So maybe they turned around and they told Chris and Seth, their two suspects, that it was flashlight, that it was trash trucks. I mean, the police can lie. They can absolutely lie. I don't believe in coincidence when it comes to true crime. I don't believe we see this weird flashlight looking object moving to then turn around and say it's nothing. I don't believe that. I mean, yeah, deputy sheriff would hold their flashlight like that one day. Go back to how you refers to the actual way these lights are released. Sounds like Seth took the clip and released it to Nick Beres out of revenge. Really? I don't think it had anything to do with moving a body, Mike. I don't think that. They do. They do. I think Ellie told them it was a trash truck and even showed them a video clip from another camera to make them believe it. Could be a flashlight of a phone. Absolutely. Absolutely. The person holding light source 2 is most likely around 5.5 foot to 6 feet tall, with a higher likelihood closer to 5.5 feet. If the flashlight is regularly held at shoulder level. You know what I would love to know? What is the height of Seth and Chris? Seth also says we only see the corner of it. The cops can lie. I mean, they absolutely can lie to them. All right, so let's go over here. Is it this one? Yeah.
Subscribe to my channel. Make sure to hit that notification. Some surveillance footage in the Sebastian Rogers case. Seems like a couple months ago now. And everybody went wild. Oh my God, it's somebody with a flashlight running around. It's somebody with a flashlight. Look at that. Look at that. It was interesting because you sort of trust what the media is putting out there. What Nick didn't want to tell you is that subject 1 that he has here, and by the way, law enforcement didn't make this where it says subject 1 and subject 2.
No.
That's what the news channel did. Okay, where it says subject 1 over there on the right, it moves around a little bit because what this video is a video of a screen. So somebody's holding a cell phone, for example, and they're filming a screen and their camera's kind of moving around a little bit. It's not on a tripod where it's really still. So these things move around. So subject 1 isn't a subject. Okay, it's a.
They can lie.
Now, I communicated with Chris Proudfoot. We communicated via voice on Facebook, and we spent a good 20 minutes or so going over what this was because he knows exactly where this is, and it absolutely makes sense.
I heard that neighbor with the camera isn't speaking to anyone except for law enforcement. Well, that's not true because they spoke to SF, they spoke to Clue, they spoke to Steven, they spoke to people. So I don't know if that's true. KNS, if you're in here, thank you for the Cash App. Is how many feet from the camera to their house? Yeah. I mean, that was broken down that it would not reach that house. It wouldn't reach the house. I don't know why people refuse to acknowledge it, but, you know, blessed be.
Well, before we do
Confirmational
that, let's
bias.
listen to what Nick Beres and one of the investigators had to say.
He says the parents continue to fully cooperate.
Any other?
What makes you think that, though, Running Bear? Respectfully asking. Like, I'm not trying to insult you. I'm genuinely curious what makes you think that Chris wouldn't do that. Yeah. Actually got the Christmas gifts from you for the kids this morning too, Pristine. Thank you very much. Hey, that coon.
Evidence of foul play.
We have not cleared anyone, but we have absolutely no evidence to support foul play.
I asked about exclusive home security video obtained from the neighborhood the night Sebastian disappeared. You can see two suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last...
And you know what's amazing is when you look at this video right here, see this little overlay right here? A YouTuber out there literally claimed that this was it, that this is the light right over the top of this. And this image right here in the background of this, whoever gave her this image, used this exact background image because you can see where the lights are down here. This all matches up with this. It's an absolute joke. Okay.
Do you, Sandra?
Then the next day,
I didn't watch it.
Some footage from the actual camera, and they didn't know what to do with it. I mean, it was absolutely shocking. However, they should have realized that when they had the video on the surveillance, that it should have absolutely debunked the video that they put out the day before. But of course, they leave that one up because it's getting good views.
Right. Well, listen, Chris wasn't. You're right, that dude. Chris wasn't in the state, in the city. He wasn't in the state, apparently. Okay. Allegedly, apparently, from what we know, he was not even in the remote area. But you have to play the what if game with everybody. What if Chris hired somebody to kidnap Sebastian? The same way they asked, what if Seth did? That's still a possibility. Alibis doesn't make somebody clear, right? It just doesn't. Right, I guess the cameras are no longer being jammed.
It's insane, you guys. So this right here, these dots right here are not flying in the air. There's no blimp. There's no helicopter. There's no satellite footage beaming down that somehow a reporter...
I don't know, Gray Hughes. Have you heard about the drones, bruh? They're taking over.
...got really quick. All right? This is inaccurate information that was put out by an irresponsible YouTuber. All right, so here is the footage that Nick Beres put out there. And he's claiming that this right here is a person. All right, so let's get back to this.
Since we first aired the video last...
See how it's moving around slightly over here? That's because it's a handheld camera filming a screen. This over here is an object that's moving.
Last month, authorities have said...
No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No.
Why?
Because the investigation remains ongoing.
And so it could play a role down the road depending on developments?
We don't know what we don't know. So yes, it could play a role.
As we just heard from one of the investigators right there, that...
I mean, but riddle me this, okay? Riddle me this. What are the odds that Sebastian vanishes? He vanishes with a flashlight. There's video of a flashlight movement that night. But, oh no, it has nothing to do with them. I'm sorry. I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to true crime. I just don't believe in it. Sandra, I'm with you. I'm with you. Solve this case for us. Tell us where Sebastian Rogers is. Because believe me, I think they're working it. Everybody claims to be a neighbor. You know how many motherfuckers argue with me in a chat? Excuse my language. But they do. They'll argue with me in a chat. And when I disagree with them, you know what they say? I live here. Okay, ma'am. Like, so? I live here. What does that mean? You know more than anybody else? All that means is you were even more tainted by the local gossip. Do you also go to Bobby Binocular's, game night whodunit meetings she was hosting? Can you imagine all the busybody, the PTA moms sitting around Nosy Bobby's kitchen table, playing a game of whodunit off an actual missing child's case, using the gossip from the local Facebook group they created to do so? Woo! Blessed be.
There's no evidentiary value.
Oh, yeah, she did
when
that.
I spoke to Chris Patrick, he explained to me exactly what is on the video. All right. So let's go down to the location. This is
well, Nick Beres said it was sent to him, and if you look, you can see it's a female recording the footage. Andrew tried to have Hunter legally kidnapped and brought to New York. Yeah, those people are also sus too.
Sebastian Rogers' home, the Proudfoot's home right here. And he explained to me that the shot is from a surveillance camera right here on this building.
Right. So you think this footage on this corner that only goes so wide was able to capture that? I mean, come on. I don't
Sebastian
know.
Rogers' home, the Proudfoot's home right here. And he explained to me that
I do think
the shot is from a surveillance camera right here on this building. We spent like 20 minutes. I kept sending him pictures of a map, and he would say, yeah, this one right over here. See that right there? He'd describe everything perfectly for me. So we were able to get it done. And it's unfortunate that other YouTubers didn't take the opportunity to talk to Chris Proudfoot in a way without sort of trying to dig in and see if they can find something in there to be accusatory towards it.
Yeah,
so there's the camera right here. Can you see that? It's filming down, and there's one car that is facing the garage, and then some other cars that are parallel to the house, and a boat, and then this black truck right here. And if you look at the still frame from the actual video itself, see, here's those two lights up here, and here's the fixed light over there. You can see there's a car right here facing the garage, and then other cars backed up like that, and that might even be a boat back there, a pickup truck, another pickup truck. And if you go to Street View again, you can see that that's what happens here. And apparently there's a fixed light on this house over here. He was saying maybe it's that one, perhaps there's another one up here. You know, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a light there that's also the fixed light. So don't really know exactly which one it is, but it's on this house. The two lights that you're seeing
where's
are
Nina?
Up here on a house. Now let's go up in the air on Street View. And it's right here, the house with a...
Where's Miss Nina? Miss, you ruined our vacation, Chris. He called me and I packed the call. She says when she got the call. The call? She's shady. Shady McShady. Motive. She had motive. Uh-huh. Because they were in a custody battle and she didn't want Chris to get custody. What better way to prevent somebody from getting custody than them having a whole child, right? Remember, a whole child disappeared. I mean, it's not a lizard. Is that what she said? It's not a lizard. I forget what she said. Yeah, they show it reflects right off. It could be anything.
A square swimming pool. So there's two lights probably in the front here that you can see. And Sebastian Rogers' home is over here. Now there's that one movement that looks like it's going like this across the screen in the video. So if you go up here, there is a road up here. And apparently it was a garbage truck that drove down the road. And then right here it has to turn around. So that's why the light went back in the video. Remember, everybody was like, wow.
Would you look at that? Now that does make sense. Liar. It's not a bearded dragon, Chris. Then I found out her own friend sold her out and said she lied. She was never taking the kids to Disney. She said that so she could turn around and tell the kids, well, you know, Mr. Chris, which I don't care what anybody says. I find it odd. Mr. Chris ruined your family vacation. We can't go to Disney now because of Mr. Chris. Oh, we got another jaded, spiteful ex. Can't put the damn kids before themselves. Anyway, that makes a lot of damn sense. Look at that. If that truck really did go down this road and had to do a bang around, turn around, hence the flashlight coming back. But then it doesn't make sense with this, right? This states it is most likely a flashlight. Now, could that be somebody just bringing their trash down early morning? You ever do that? You ever have to run down to the trash man like, wait, pulling the cans behind you? Hold on. Or it's, you know, you're getting ready to take the kids to school. You realize you didn't bring the trash up. You're getting ready for work. And you hurry up and you roll it down. But would it be dark enough that they turn their flashlight on to walk the cans down? I don't know.
Why'd the light go back? That's weird. That's because it's a garbage truck. It came right here, turned around, and drove back, and it comes into the background over here. So if you go down to Street View, way down here, you can kind of see how this plays out. So here's where the camera is. You're right here, and kind of...
So we're supposed to believe that this footage was able to catch lights over these hills and shit too, though? I mean, I don't know. Maggie and Nina being liars? I would like whoever said it to produce proof of it, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Filming like this, it's a wide angle lens, so it picks up more information. So there's a light over here. There are the two lights up in there, and then the pickup truck is driving up there. So you got to realize that you have to go down to...
A pickup truck, or did he mean a trash truck? Who else drives a pickup truck? Kind of does one of those, one of those.
Low on the ground, so you could see that it would be coming in like this, and it looked like it went right back towards the home there. But there's trees in there, so it looks like it goes on and off intermittently. Let's take a look at the street view from 2007. So again, there's no surveillance camera there at that time, but they were still using the area for parking a boat and cars on the grass and everything. But if you go up here, you can see this is the house. There was no trees in the area at that time because it was a new neighborhood. Okay. So on this home right here are those two lights, and then behind there's a road back there. But you can see if you go down here that road is basically parallel with the level of the house. Because the highest it could be would be up in the trees over here, but it's not. It's right back up in there. There's a road, and so that light you could see coming on and off. And again, this was in February where there's no leaves on the trees, so you would be able to see through the branches and trees. And if it's really not a lot of branches, it would look like a continuous light because of the distance. And then sometimes it would go on and off because of a structure or a thicker tree, for example. So that way back up in here is where the dead end is. It kept driving like this. Here's the two lights, and then again you have to go down to this area.
I don't know. What do you guys think so far? What are you thinking? You thinking he's? I don't know. Sunrise wasn't until 6:21 on February 26th. Hey, Andrea. Cars on grass is bad. That's what driveways are for. Sean's truck has lights and a backup beeper. Listening with boyfriend and wonders why you are granny. Look, it sounds so young. A blank slate. Despite popular belief, it is not because of another creator's grandmother that she calls Nana or something like that. Nanny, something, whatever. I was blocked from a chat. I had to hurry up and make an account to go back in because I'm stubborn and I wanted to say what I wanted to say. And I thought at that moment, would you speak this way if your grandma was watching? Like, would you treat people this way? And it's something I should remind myself of more often. And now I'm stuck with this stupid ass weird name, but that is the basis of it. Do I believe that this camera was able to catch footage from over the hilltops? I don't know. I think it's more likely that we know a child, 15 years old, disappeared that night, apparently left with a flashlight, and we see a flashlight. Oh.
Yeah, it's hard to mimic exactly because you have to be right underneath here and then looking in that direction. But he explained it to me. It absolutely made sense. Leave me a comment in the comment section what you think. I have no doubt that he's telling you the truth. That's why there's no evidentiary value, because it's a garbage truck now. They don't know what they don't know. And so they're making that comment because at that time, perhaps that garbage truck is related to something,
And we have Seth as well saying it was a garbage truck. I believed Gray Hughes since he first did this. I do believe Sean is sus in some capacity. Somehow in my mind, it can't find this to be the key to it. Hindsight is always 20/20. Setting up a GoFundMe so early, why prepare for the long haul? A few days in, I would have hoped resolution was coming. Right, and then the fact that you turn around and you got to add in all the other weird things, right? Like playing in visuals, whatever they're called, 3 weeks out. How do you know within a month your child won't be found? It's just something weird. Good morning, True Crime. It's the only clue we have. Why a local hasn't knocked on the door and asked for daylight screenshot? They did. They got them. Here. This is the actual camera. This is you can look up all his capabilities. This is them reenacting. They put it up at the same height. They didn't just, half-ass it. And this is supposed to be the trash truck at 5:12 on February 26th. This is actual footage of it that morning. This is, the date on here is 2/26 at 5:09 a.m. That truck is flying, man. I can't get past that. It is literally flying. I mean, it's not flying. I'm being a little dramatic. It's less dangerous than some creators I've seen on the road. But when you see a trash truck, you're literally thinking they're going slow. Anyhow, I was envisioning the truck like stopping, picking up trash, moving a little bit along, picking up trash. Do you know what I mean? Completely just can't promise a negative. Huh. So let's pull up the footage, the reenactment. All right. I haven't really fully looked at this one. Sometimes there's just too much other commentary going on to pay full attention. So let's see what they reenacted. This is courtesy of Clue and Cletus. They shared this with everybody.
That we could get out of the original video that got put out. And the idea was to try to get the best perspective of the original video. So this is what it looked like in the widest angle possible. Go to the next one. So what we've found out is that camera at that time, and mind you, this guy's got a much better camera now. So just so that's known, that we're not, putting anything out that's impeding on his safety or anything like that. This is not even his system right now. But anyway, the camera itself had a 75-degree field of view. When we look at that image on the left-hand side, basically split into fours, that would be 18.75 degrees would be a quarter of it. And you can look right there and see that the wall is damn near eating up almost a quarter of the field of view, right? So go to the next one.
I don't know how the hell you do this.
So if we just say, all right, it's not 18 degrees, it's a little less, and we just say 15 degrees of the field of view is nothing but the wall. That leaves 60 degrees of a field of view that we could be looking at from that camera, right? So go to
It's a little hard for me to follow. Is it a little hard for anybody else? Like, I don't know this whole view things, and I'm not even going to pretend it's kind of going in one ear and out the other. But basically, the angles wouldn't reach the area they're claiming it reached, which is also what Seth Rogers said in his interview. He said it would not reach the common area. And you have to ask, why was he saying that then? Unless it was true. Let's do it. Let's hear it again from him.
I've been in that neighborhood. I even knew what house it was. As soon as I saw it, I recognized the house. So I knew the angle. Because the angle's coming from at the end of the street. It's not pointing at like a common section. It's just literally at the end of the street so
it's not pointing at a common section. He's right. It's not.
the next one. So when we take and we put a 60-degree angle from that house looking out to the right, this is what we see. And 60 degrees intersects 1006. Now that's the house.
All right, let's pause for a minute. So this is the house. That is a long range. I mean, I'm just saying that's a pretty damn long range for the hell. I wouldn't even expect a camera to reach that far, if I'm being honest, but it did. It did. So look how far it's going. Now they draw it going. Isn't that not the common area? Okay.
House with the garage that everybody has said the two lights were from that everybody's used as a point of reference. The problem with that is that the original footage everybody's been looking at, they put those two lights to the left, and that's not possible. So if you look at that, right, the original field of view from the right.
Can I just say bless Cletus's heart for figuring this all out? I mean, honestly. Listen, again, they're being knocked down because, they're Proudfoot supporters, blah, blah, blah. You know what? Everybody's so afraid of admitting that somebody else could be correct because in their minds, that's giving the enemy a one-up. And that is so damn sad. That is so sad for Sebastian. At the end of the day, both quote-unquote sides are so blinded by their hate of each other that we're failing to realize that we're all fighting for the same fucking thing, which is answers to where this missing child is. To negate crucial information in a missing child's case because you want to point out one side or the other? Come on, man. SF immediately being blown off because, he's Team Proudfoot. Why? It's infuriating.
Edge, you got to go about 20 degrees to get to those two lights. All right, which leaves 40 degrees from the wall, right? So go to the next one. So when we draw a 40-degree angle from that wall, we get an entirely different house.
Fact.
Right? So now go to the next one. So at the end of the day.
And you're right, Feisty Nana. It's exactly why creators should never choose sides, right? But you know what's really sad about that? You know what's really sad about that? Is that if you don't push their narrative, they place you on a side. Because I don't push the Seth is innocent and a great father narrative, I'm automatically placed on the side of the Proudfoots. When I've been screaming from the rooftop, don't trust any of them. I think they're all shady. Please tell me this ain't the same person that also got another sheriff that's currently the sheriff fired from his position, although he still remains in his position. Oh, blessed be, blessed be, blessed be the
40 degrees from that wall cannot be 1006 Stafford, which means that what everybody's been chasing as flashlights or whatever the hell cannot be coming from the back of Chris and Katie and Sebastian's house, because it's not even in the field of view of this picture. There is no common area. There's nothing in there. What we're looking at is the edge of 1006 on the very far right. The two lights that you see in the middle there that the arrow is pointing to are actually landscape lights on another house in the subdivision. Go to the next one.
And just wait, because we did do a recreation video and it is legitimately spot on. You're going to see it.
So like I said, that light there is the garage light from 1006 Stafford, and we know this.
Let's see the reenactment. All right, see the light flickering up there? Forget what they're circling. See the light flickering?
And this is in no way, shape, or form intended to be a 100% factual. This is the recreation of the twinkling lights in the original video. Yeah. We were primarily trying to show and get a true point of reference for what the hell we've all been looking at forever, and figure out, is there something to it or is there not?
And if you can see, like I circled right here, those are those landscape lights. Those are the same landscape lights on the other video. They are not from over the garage on that other home at all, whatsoever, right? It literally...
But you can see that this isn't exact angles, because that light is in the middle here and their light is on the edge. So something's still missing there, right? Just me, maybe? I don't know. I still see something missing.
That's them.
So we need more angle.
And see, like they start zooming in or whatever. But again, they're zooming in on those landscape lights on a home.
So they zoom in.
I don't know how far I made that thing. So let me take it down.
Okay. Do you bring it back up? Let's see.
Cars in the driveway are positioned differently, but like you can't mistake this right here and this right here at all.
And the twinkling light you see in the footage to the right is me with a flashlight walking in a couple of places. And just so we could try to see if we could even get.
See, it's a flashlight. I'm sorry, but even they reenacted with the flashlight. You see, it's a flashlight. Now you have to come to who's holding the flashlight? Is it the child that vanished that night, or is it the person that made the child vanish that night? Now you guys are saying it's kind of hard when this guy's immediately saying like Chris and Katie are guilty. But I'll give it a go. All right, debunking the
reenacted, but I'm sorry, they got it wrong. And I'll be able to debunk this in about 10 minutes. And I'm going to debunk it thoroughly so we can fully understand this and hopefully put this to rest, because I've worked on this for so long. And
he did work on this for so long. I give him that credit. He did. But he did it with the help of locals. He's not local himself, right? Someone recorded the footage and cropped it. You're right, Coffee. You're right. Because they're saying that the footage would have never reached there. So it would have been fruitless to do that. Because they would have just been walking around somebody's property in the dark looking stupid, because the cameras would have never caught it. That's what they're claiming.
Did out so many obvious things, not to say that I know what's going on in this video, but there are some things that are just, they're right there. So let's just kind of break this down, because so
I'm going to assume he's the same one that tries saying SF claims that as a trash truck, despite SF not saying that, right? All right.
They have been going around and apparently getting some footage from the neighborhood, which, if true, is great, because maybe that footage will show something, Again, I haven't seen it. I would love to be able to get a hold of the footage and take a look at it and see what
I have a feeling this is why they don't give you footage, though, respectfully, because your intents aren't very good. It's very one-sided. It's very one-sided idealism going on here.
I could do with it, but let's just break down his recent tweet. And again, this is just to show that he got it wrong. Okay.
All right. Let's see.
Again, just try not to. I know some people are gonna, say I don't like that guy. That's fine. Just don't say anything like really nasty or anything. Again, we're a channel that we try to stay away from drama, but I've worked on this for so long, and what I would give to be able to be out there with.
Well, then go out there. Because to claim that you're able to debunk it from the comfort of your home and knock down the people that are doing their best to reenact it is very ignorant, in my opinion. I think it's ignorant. I think if you think you can do a better job from your house than the people that are boots on the ground in the cold in this time of year with this weather, doing everything they can to reenact that so we can have answers to where Sebastian Rogers is, it's just rude, in my opinion. Say what you have to say without doing all the, insults towards them. At least give them credit for what they're trying to do. It's far more than others.
With them
including
to actually
myself.
work on a reenactment, which is really called a control test. And to do a control test, you really need to reenact the actual environment, the camera angles and everything. And they didn't do that. And it was completely obviously from the beginning. And I'll show you.
Okay.
So here he puts out a tweet. He put a couple of photos out. Now he claims that the field of view is here. And if you notice, as I zoom in here in just a second, you'll notice that it conveniently doesn't show Sebastian Rogers' home. And
why is that conveniently, though? Why couldn't that just be the fact? Why couldn't it just be factual? Well, they reenacted walking past and seeing if cameras would pick them up. They didn't reenact this whole flashlight thing.
cuts out all this area where I believe the lights are going. What's going on with the lights, I don't know, but I believe the lights are traveling between these two homes, which is kind of in the backyard of Sebastian Rogers, and these homes here. But as you can see, he claims that no, the field of view does not reach that far. So he kind of says, and I'm not going to read all of this because I don't want to bring. He says, yes, I know the 3M vehicles belong. So this is what's interesting. He says, yes, I know who the 3AM vehicles belong to and who is driving them. Now, I'm just going to, right now, I question that.
But why do you question that? Because you couldn't fathom having the credentials that he has to work hand in hand with the police? See, unlike these other people that one day they tell you all they're working with local LE and FBI, and then the next thing you know, a week later, they're tweeting that they don't work with them. Stephen Fisher does. He has a good working relationship. So why would you question if he knows who the drivers are or not? And what difference does it make? I don't understand it, but whatever.
Because I've spoken to locals. I think they know. Again, there's two vehicles that, from my source,
so locals.
One is the Uber driver, which is a little bit later, and they know who that person is. But as far as the vehicle at 3 a.m., from my sources say, they do not know who is that in that vehicle, or
your sources are neighbors. They're neighbors. What, busybody Bobby and Brittany? They're your sources? Just because they don't know doesn't mean that law enforcement or SF Investigates doesn't. I don't understand when people are like, well, the neighbors are full of YouTube speculation. The neighbors are so far into the gossip that they host roundtables where they sit with their coffee and speculate.
exactly what that vehicle again. Is he fibbing? I don't want to call him a liar, but I don't know if that's true. Then he goes on to say the trash trucks one was on Killen at 5:01, which is true. That's about the time they get there, is about 5 a.m. And
Where's she at? Is she in here? Where are you at, Taj? Because I played a video just for you. You in here? I would love to show you what I was trying to tell you in the chat. But Taj says she's a neighbor. So they all know more than any of us. So I digress. I'm sorry.
It says near Sebastian's house, and it says, from 501 to 512, they're on, one street. And then he says the lights video everyone is discussing was recorded, he claims, at 5:09 to 5:10 a.m. Again, I don't know how he knows that, because
you don't know how he knows that. Maybe because it's right here. Maybe because right there it says 5:09. Maybe, or just maybe, it's because Seth Rogers over here tells you himself the time of it.
Stayed 311 for like 15 minutes.
Okay. So
broke equipment.
I don't even see
So it
Taj.
was broken. Okay. So it stayed at 311 for the whole time. So 3 o'clock was not the time that these trash guys came in. These garbage men came in and picked up the trash. That was a little bit later on, a little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
Is
And
she
of course,
in here?
again, this was a cropped video.
More like 5 or something, right?
Or so, right? A little bit earlier in the morning, if that makes any sense. More like 5 or so, right?
Correct.
Correct. So, again, that would be how they know. This guy doesn't understand how he could get that when literally there's other footage. Oh, there you are, Taj. I see you. Okay, I want to show you this. There's literally other footage, and you're claiming that he couldn't get that? Okay. I mean, other cameras, sir, would be your answer, but... All right, Taj, this one's for you.
2 suspicious light sources, which we've circled here in an area behind the teen's home. Since we first aired the video last month, authorities have said
No evidentiary value?
It is of no evidentiary value.
Can you tell me what those lights are?
No,
Why?
because the investigation remains ongoing.
He never said it was trash trucks. Yeah, why won't they just come out? I mean, at this point, they're aggravating. Can we all collectively agree on that? That they are aggravating as hell? Like, they come out to say, like, our armchair detectives, they're going to mess up the real investigation, less than credible sources, but just come blatantly out and give us a damn press conference. Give us something. So, again, for Mob Clue to say, oh, well, how would he know? Well, here's a footage on February 26, 2024 at 5:09 a.m. by a neighbor that shows the trash truck speeding on by. And if you look, after they pass, the lights remain in the windows. Check it out, right there. Moving lights. So, I don't know. Mob Crew, maybe that's how he knows. Let's not try to be too logical here. We can't dare admit that we possibly have been wrong. It's frustrating. Again, I personally believe it's a flashlight. I believe it's a flashlight.
They that timestamp's frozen. It for some reason it froze for like a couple of days, and then
for some reason. Is this the same one that said they used Wi-Fi jammers? Who told me to watch this? I'm not watching it. I'm sorry. I'm not. I can't. Unless you give me a timestamp at where he does some amazing thing other than say ridiculous shit and doesn't use common sense to figure out how anybody would know what time the trash men came that day. I mean, why don't you ask your special local connections, your neighbors, what time the trash came that day? It's that simple. No, you know what, Tara? I won't give him slack because he doesn't give slack. And you're going to ask a dumbass question like that? and tell me that you're some super sleuth, but you can't figure out how anybody can figure out what time the trash man came? Come on, man. And you're going to blatantly ignore what Seth Rogers said? What Chris Proudfoot said? The only reason anybody even brought up trash trucks is because of those two. They're the ones that came out and said a trash truck. Nobody else. Not law enforcement. Unlike what you thought, Taj, law enforcement never said trash truck. Right, but even without SF releasing that, it is common sense. Right? Would you agree that you have to use a little bit of common sense as an internet sleuth? And instead of saying, I think this man is lying, because how would he know what time the trash trucks came? Instead of saying, well, perhaps he has other footage or spoke to neighbors, right? Wouldn't you agree with that? A little bit of knowledge goes a long way, a little bit of thinking. But he went into this with the mind frame of discrediting them to the point where he's now discrediting himself. This is why you can't have confirmational bias. Make a fool out of yourself doing stuff like that. And first he calls him a liar about knowing who's driving the cars. Now he's a liar because he knows what time the trash came. How about just admitting, you know what? Maybe my footage is wrong and I got to look for something else. Or you know what? Maybe let me look at this without confirmational bias and see if maybe there's anything correct with what they did. But then you have to get rid of all your other content where you say there's, you know, jammers and all these things, and people aren't going to like that. The recreation of the other lights on clues. I get it. I guess she's controversial. I already played it. I played it, Hope. I've always said Ellie never said trash trucks. That's my whole point. Craddock says that video could be significant later investigation. In Dolly's chat, you were saying that Craddock said it was trash trucks. And I said, no, he didn't. Go listen again. And you told me to listen again. And I came back and said, I just listened again. Perhaps you should. But, you know, they don't know. Chris and Katie didn't know a kid lived there. Pick one, because that makes no sense. Well, if we go back to what Bobby said in the beginning, she also claimed it was so dark you couldn't see your hand in front of your face, right? But now they're expecting people to cameras to pick up thin, tall children walking. All right. Just like I had a belief that there was absolutely no doubt in my mind that the Proudfoots had anything to do with Sebastian's disappearance. And now I'll be honest with you. I put nothing past anybody. I don't. The more I hear, the more I learn, the more vibes I get from people. I think something bad happened that night. And I think law enforcement is putting together a case. And I think that they will absolutely, in time, have somewhat answers the best they can. Way behind, but the autistic kids and sleep's a very real thing, and meds are not always the answer. Melatonin doesn't work for everyone. Gave my son night terrors. Doctor, ignore you too. Yeah. Hey, Naomi. Thank you. Thank you so much. What did I just say? In all fairness, no one commenting on YouTube holds weight. SF nor mob crew or LE. If what SF said was correct, then why hasn't LE stated that? It wouldn't affect damage to search. Which part are you talking about? Because if what SF says here, which is that he believes it to be a flashlight, that could affect. That might be the only evidence they have of that night, which would be why they wanted it removed. Right? I mean, if that is, in fact, a flashlight, they have to figure out who's holding that flashlight. Right. How many people are actually searching? How many people are actually searching? We know that Stephen Crabtree is out there searching all the time. We know that SF is there and has been there, boots on the ground. Thank you, Sammy. We're so close. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. Got to keep in mind the kind of neighborhood it is. All busybodies, all up in everyone's business after something happens, but won't take the time to send a smile our way beforehand. You just reminded me of something. Thank you. Let me show you this. All right, let me find it. Give me just a second. I'm sorry. Here we go. Oh no, that's Robin. Trying to find the old screenshots I have of comments Bobby was making, because it was in fact Bobby that was angry about the traffic in the neighborhood, and she was complaining about it. Oh, I didn't even see this one. Check this out.
Other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course, it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash. That's just false information provided by a particular person.
Other
Just saying.
Other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course, it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash.
Of course, when it left, it went faster. It didn't have to stop and pick up trash. And I present to you this. Again, that leaves behind twinkling lights off the reflections. Thank you, Nicole G. Sorry, so he said that on a news interview as well. And now all of a sudden people are adamant that it has to be. This is interesting too. So Mrs. Bowersox asked for people to help find Sebastian. Now I know she's the devil reincarnated, so it's hard to believe. But Sumner County actually responds, please edit your post. We appreciate your willingness to assist in the search for Sebastian. Currently, we have hundreds of trained professionals conducting the search equipped with specialized technology. This includes the use of drones and air support, which help us reduce the chance of false sightings. Our teams are experienced in such operations, ensuring they're thorough and efficient. So they actually told Mrs. Bowersox not to ask people to help search. Have quotas. They cleared the area in about 12 minutes. That's quick. I don't know if it was 12 minutes. Did anybody else find this to be interesting? I mean, Mrs. Bowersox?
So going back to the whole light thing, I was told that there was an unidentified car sitting on my street facing the entrance somewhere around 3:30 or so, and then the flashlights were actually seen on the neighbor's camera. 2 separate flashlights walking in between the yards, which the trash truck does not do. They don't need to. All of the trash is at the curb. They have
the trash men don't have to work. Thank you, Bobby. Thank you for telling us that. But you see what she just said. There was a car at 3 a.m. Right? This is coming from Bobby. Bobby's the neighborhood Bobby.
Never, ever gone. Matter of fact, when you sign up for services, they tell you in the email their rules and regulations. If your trash is not by the curb, they don't take it. Unless, you're an elderly person, you ask them. If your trash is like in the front of your house and you ask them, they'll come and get it like that, but they won't come around the back or in between houses. That's bull monarchy. That is not how that works.
No track. You don't believe those 3:10 a.m. lights were around 3:10 after 3 a.m. were trash truck lights.
Not only do I not believe it, but the neighbor that has the actual footage swore up and down that there are two different circumstances. There was the car with the lights coming towards the car backed up on Kellen and left.
Right, there's two separate circumstances, which is what FF is saying to everybody. SF is saying, I'm not putting these two together. You all are, but I'm not. There's two separate circumstances going on.
Left. And then about 2-ish hours, hour and a half, hour and 42 something, they're like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is.
Even the homeowner's telling you all that the timestamp isn't working. Holy shit. I didn't know this. Listen to this again. She's telling you there's two separate, it was 2 hours later. So 3 a.m. is the mysterious car. 5 a.m. is the trash truck.
About 2-ish hours, hour and a half, hour and 42 something, they're like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the middle of the night when the car comes down the street, turns onto Stafford, sits there for about 3 to 5 minutes. The flashlights are coming from two different directions in between the yards. They do whatever they're doing around the car. The car backs up Kellen and leaves from Stafford. I'm sorry, backs up Kellen and leaves.
I believe her. I do. I believe her. And I believe the police don't want us to know this. I believe that is the evidentiary value. I do.
And then 2 or so.
If the car backed up to leave, that sounds to me like they knew there was a camera nearby.
Which, who told us they know the angles of all the cameras in the neighborhood? They know where all the cameras are. They know all the angles. She also says Ellie told her to drop it about it not being a trash truck to the public, which is interesting. I agree. She says, Seth said, Chris is amazing. Come on, man. He's my neighbor and helps out anyone. Chris is very smart. You should watch it with being biased. My opinion, I really like you, but disagree. What? Do you want to click the link? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Right, so who do we believe? Now we're supposed to believe Bobby? So do we believe Seth Rogers back in March?
Of course, again, this was a cropped video from a very, very big video.
Yes.
Okay.
I honestly think somebody did it for clickbait. I mean,
I see. Okay. So then
he wanted people to log in to follow. And
Right.
if he's watching this now, he knows why I'm not answering his phone calls.
Oh, I see.
Information provided by a particular person.
Other news outlets were reporting that there were lights seen in the backyard that were caught on camera by a neighbor's video. Is that true?
No. What that was a trash truck. Went through, picked up trash, and when it left, of course, it went faster. It didn't have to stop to pick up trash.
So who do we believe?
About 2-ish hours, hour and a half, hour and 42 something, they're like she said, the time stamp on the video is not working. It is stuck. She said, but you can tell because it's pitch black dark in the middle.
What are you talking about, Leslie? What are you talking about? He doesn't agree with Clue, but they are talking like you are much loved. Perhaps you're biased, not letting you see. Have you bed there? I don't know what you're talking about, respectfully. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry that I'm not going to believe that a child allegedly left that night with nothing but a flashlight There is footage clearly showing a flashlight, and we're supposed to believe that the two are not connected. I don't believe it. I think the police did not want this footage out there. They immediately told Nick Beres to remove it. They immediately started cleaning it up with Seth and Chris and Katie, telling them it's a trash truck. Here's the proof. They told Bobby here to stop saying it's not a trash truck. I think that's the only evidence they have of Sebastian that night. I believe it. And if not Sebastian, of somebody near his home. The night he vanished. A child just vanished. Oh. Well, maybe he should go there. Maybe instead of him putting down people that are boots on the ground and asking idiotic questions, he should go be boots on the ground. I'm pretty sure he's made enough money by now that he could travel there to do an actual investigation. I agree they are. They're not wanting us to know certain things. You have to ask yourselves why. Why was Seth so angry that footage was released? That he's trying to convince everybody, even with a smile on his face. And that's not even, that's like 4 interviews now that he's done that in. All right, let me pull this up and then I'm about done with it. Thank you, Diane. Thank you so much. All right, one more thing. Don't leave me just yet. We got one more thing. Let's not forget that Bobby and that neighbor that had the footage claimed that they saw Sebastian's bedroom window open up. Right? They're also claiming too. Hold on, I'm looking for it. They're also claiming what is this? This is an interesting comment. Check this out. And this is true. If you look up Bobby, I mean, this is actually true. Bobby is a cop. Carter is a cop. They're best friends with Chris. This is the other Bobby. But Bobby, the neighbor whose cameras these are coming from, is supposedly law enforcement. Now, I don't know if these cops are actually good friends with Chris. Again, if I was to believe that anybody was friends with Chris, it would have to be, or was friends with police, it would, for me, it'd be the man that is pronounces himself as law enforcement. That's who I would guess would have connection to law enforcement. Hold on. I mean, you got to remember, law enforcement drained ponds. They dug in the landfill. Oh, let's point this out too. Hold on. This was one more interesting thing I seen. I just seen SF shared this a little bit ago. What is this crap about SF silencing Nick? Fisher went to extreme lengths to have me essentially gagged, only to taunt me, explain his twisted sense of control. He claims to have had a long talk with my parole officer, claiming he learned a lot about me. Now, with utmost respect, you went great lengths to gag me, haven't been successful at it, but then continued to taunt me. You did the same thing, Nick. Right? Put a 1 in the chat if you think putting an injunction on somebody and then repeatedly tweeting or tweeting about them thereafter is taunting them. I would think it was. Anyway, this man, he's not using his license the way it was intended. No, he's just boots on the ground in Tennessee, but okay. He's twisted it in something else entirely. He's made it a weapon, a blade he swings to dominate, to control, to scare. What's with these people and these dramatics? Oh, wounds that will never heal. He made it a weapon, a blade. Because he called your probation officer? Lots of ones popping in. Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Kelly. It's good to see some of you. You silent watchers. Thank you for coming out. I appreciate you all. While you're out, hit that thumbs up. Maybe we can gag another. All right. He's exploiting every ounce of authority that piece of paper gives him. Not just for justice, not for integrity, but to manipulate, to get what he wants when he wants it. Not only are the intimidation tactics unethical, they are downright dangerous. How's that an intimidation tactic? To call your probation officer? You know who else used his position to suppress dissenting voices? He did not. You know what? Where are you at, HOA? You see what this man just wrote? You know who else used his position to suppress dissenting voices and punish those who spoke out against him or his views? Hitler. Hitler. He did not just compare SF calling a probation officer to Hitler. When these people have come out here, and people got mad when I said this, when I compared the same way Hitler convinced the masses to what they are doing, create an us first then, push your propaganda, sit there and use religion tactics, collect all the misfits. Oh, blessed be the fruit. I am baffled right now. Baffled. And the HOA took apart what I said, because apparently I didn't complete my thought, and had this whole hissy fit over me dare compare him to Hitler, which I didn't do. Never did. I never said, oh, he's equal to Hitler. I'm not that ignorant to our history. But I did say it's the same old school tactics that have been used. Right? Girl? No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Nonsense picked up on what I was saying that day. It's the propaganda they use. There's articles written on it. It's how you deceive people. And you get people to trust in you. And you get people to blindly follow. And you purposely go after those that feel they're not part of, those that feel they don't fit in anywhere. You give them a purpose, a reason. You give them an itinerary of what to say that day. You make them feel like they are included. Okay? And to say that's what SF is doing and he's not using his license for anything good? No? Well, that's weird because I can show you differently. I've seen him go on programs. Here he is sharing out this 15-year-old missing juvenile from here he is, boots on the ground getting footage. I mean, come on. You have him heavily involved with the Hannah case. He's the one that broke it. He's the one that broke that missing woman Hannah's case wide open. How are you going to say he doesn't use his time for good? Here he is resharing this. He goes on court TV. He's boots on the ground. Where the hell's the at night team? Anybody see them in Tennessee? Has anybody seen Seth Rogers, Tony Mathis, Nick Hasafrasa, whatever his name is, Dog the Bounty Hunter, Joseph Lasniak, Bullhorn Betty, Brittany J. Who am I missing here? Ocean, whatever her name is. She's in the lawsuit. I don't even know her. Julia. Has anybody seen any of them out searching? Put a 0 for no. Put a 1 for yes. They're out there searching. No, right, Jill? No searching going on. Christina? Like, who the fuck's Christina? How am I being sued by somebody I don't even know? So how dare you compare somebody like Hitler and you being gagged by a probation officer to Hitler. The only way a probation officer can reprimand you is if you're doing something wrong, right? I mean, it's like when people get removed from YouTube and they're like, I got removed because they reported me. No, you got removed because their reports were legit. So the only way, whatever. I just think that's so grossly ignorant. That's chasing, well, yeah, whoever the fuck that is. Damn tiki-talkers taking over the tubes. That actually pisses me off, Tara Lane. She's on the side of the road searching for the moon. Howling. Like a wackadoo. I haven't seen anyone search in a while, sadly, other than Steven, who's been out there with SF and Clue and Cletus. I mean, honestly, to compare that to Hitler is so gross. Again, he is trying to use an emotionally driven topic to create hate. That's literally what Hitler did. It's exactly what Hitler did. Hey, Alexis. And then to say that, I mean, honestly, to turn around and say, oh my gosh, unbelievable. Oh, she's a 2 a.m. girl? Right. He would not be searching without everyone knowing. Divide and conquer. Yes. They know what they're doing. Again, using emotional topics to get people all riled up. Like, here's an example, right? Propaganda must always address itself to the broad masses of the people. All propaganda must be presented in a popular form and must fix its intellectual level so as to not be above the heads of the least intellectual of those to whom it is directed. That is why these YouTube creators have to have an itinerary of what to say. Okay? Because they have to break it down for the least intelligent that are willing to run with their narratives. All right? I mean, that's just the God's honest truth. The art of propaganda consists precisely in being able to awaken the imagination of the public through an appeal to their feelings. To their feelings. That's exactly what they've been doing. They're using everybody's actual feelings for this missing child to create an us versus them. And then they feed that hate by taking little tiny bits and pieces, 10-second pieces from an over hour and something long footage and presenting to you all a mother on her phone. And all the mothers currently on their phones are judging that mother for those 10 seconds you see her on her phone. It's quite the irony. But they don't even realize it. You have to find the appropriate psychological form that will arrest the attention and appeal to the hearts of the national masses. I present to you all the imagery of Sebastian in his younger years and the word autistic. Poor young autistic child. That's why they do that. The broad masses of the people are not made up of diplomats or professors or they're your simple persons who are able to form. I'm sorry. You got to admit, they picked the good ones. I don't know why this shit's so funny to me. I think it's because I already knew it. But reading that Hitler literally chose the morons just further validates what I've been saying. They fucking picked you guys out really well. What's so stupid? She showed her packet. You're not supposed to admit to everybody you got the packet. The other one literally admits that she's reading from something. Oh my goodness. All right. Yep, they sure followed this to a T, the blueprint of the Nazis. Propaganda must not investigate the truth objectively, and insofar as it is favorable to the other side, present it according to the theoretical rules of justice. I'm so close we can taste you, right? We're almost there. We can smell you. We're coming for you, Spade, Ace. Do a little riddle here and there. Kind of like the fear if you say anything we dislike, we're going to add you into a lawsuit. You say just one word we don't like, we're going to add you into a lawsuit. Kind of like that, right, Janae? I would say. How about telling random chatters that we're going to go ahead and we're going to get your IP addresses? I don't know. That's pretty fearful to people. The receptive powers of the masses are very restricted and their understanding is feeble. On the other hand, they quickly forget. These slogans should be persistently repeated until the very last individual has come to grasp the idea that has been put forward. Again, that's why they're emailing everybody what to go live about. They are brainwashing the masses by having 5 to 6 creators going along with the same topic at the same day. That's literally what they're doing. So the idea that he claims that SF is similar to Hitler, which again is grossly ignorant to the suffering that everybody went through at the hands of Hitler, when if anybody's closest to the propaganda they used at that time period, it would be all of them. It would be exactly what they're doing. How the fuck are you going to compare SF calling your probation officer to the killing of thousands and thousands of people? That is so gross. But again, that's what they do. They use an emotionally driven topic to appeal to you all. So a bunch of idiots are going to read that and they're going to say, Hitler? Yeah, SF is as bad as Hitler. When there's zero fucking comparison. Millions, right? You're right. I didn't want to speak and say it and somebody be like, it wasn't millions. It's fucking horrible. Every change that is made in the subject of a propagandist message must always emphasize the same conclusion. What's the same conclusion for them? Proudfoot's bad. Proudfoot's bad. No matter what they put out, they imply that it's going to lead to the Proudfoot's bad. The lead and slogan must, of course, be illustrated in many ways and from several angles. But in the end, one must always return to the assertion of the same formula. And I present to you their 5 useful idiots that get their daily packet and go live with what they're told to go live with. I'm telling you, actually go down through this and see how Hitler was able to do what he did and the brainwashing he used, and you tell me who's closer to it. The man that calls somebody's probation officer? Okay. Okay. At least he's finally admitting that he was gagged by his probation officer when last time he led everybody to believe it was because of the Proudfoots. So at least this time he's being honest about that. What is the end game? Parole. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's parole officer. Let's keep it where it's at. Parole. Probation's less. Parole's big. What is the end game, though? How do they think this is helping Sebastian? I'm really stupid or lost. They don't think it's helping Sebastian. Fact of the matter is, they came out very early on and admitted that they believe Sebastian's no longer with us. Okay? It wasn't until they wanted to keep the little grift going and they put out these injunctions and these lawsuits that they were suddenly saying things like, oh, we do think he's alive. Oh, we're so close to the truth, we can taste it. Breaking news for immediate release. A significant update coming out. Trump administration's joining in, but we got to wait till February. That's what they're doing. It's unbelievable to me. And people just fall for it. It has nothing to do with getting to the truth of where Sebastian is. It's making this drag out as long as they can. And the reason I believe that is because if it was about the truth and if it was about Sebastian Rogers, they would release the entirety of the video instead of breaking it into small little snippets to keep an hour and something footage long into as many clickbait titles as they can. I thought about it, Titanium, because quite frankly, I'm fucking over it. Their intention is not to help Sebastian, it's to help themselves, and they found a perfect marks. Well, here's a perfect example. Dog the Bounty Hunter was charging $250, right, to have a cameo. After he joined Sebastian's case and went on national news for it, which was after the FBI released a $50,000 reward, now he raised his cameo appearances to $500. What gave him the newfound attention to do that? Why the sudden double the price? I don't know, Just Jen. I don't know. It could be. It could be how quick can somebody go back to jail from parole, I'm sorry. But I don't know. Right, we got satellites that aren't even in the air, and people are still eating up what they're telling you. This man was literally busted red-handed by the same company he tried acting like he's so close to. When they responded back, we're glad you're making progress, but we don't have any satellites in the air. And look how quickly they came out with a distraction to stop the people from pointing out that they lied about having clear as day footage from a satellite that doesn't exist. And they had to stop the people from speaking about it further. So they came out with breaking news. Wouldn't you be embarrassed to say that your breaking news was that what you deemed to be a green hoodie man was now a female? Wouldn't you be embarrassed by that as an intelligence agency? Well, let's talk about that the healthcare shooter. That McDonald's employee turned him in, right? The only reason they arrested him when they did is because the McDonald's worker saw him, called it in, police came, and it was him. They're not getting the reward. They're not getting the $50,000 reward. Why? Because they didn't call the right phone number. So what do you think is going to happen with this rapidly growing reward fund from two individuals who owe millions to others? What do you think is going to happen? What do you think all that fine print is on there? No, they didn't, Betty Boop. No, they didn't. You can write it 5 more times. No, they didn't. Yeah, she's not getting that reward fund. She was supposed to call Crime Stoppers. She called 911. They did this to the guy before, too, that caught the man on the bus. They said, well, you call 911, not Crime Stoppers. These companies have ways of getting out of this shit, and that's one of them. Now, are you trusting a company, a professional company that says their services cost up to $500,000 that makes the reward fund in a way to dox somebody's address, in a way to quote unquote taunt somebody? February 25th, and then the address of the Bower Sox? Disagree with you again, Leslie. Completely disagree with you. I'm sorry for what your family lived and went through with both the wars. But I think to say nobody else should have any say in anything is ridiculous. History repeats itself by telling people they don't have a right to speak. Dog never planned on paying. Is he trying to figure out a way to pay himself the reward? Well, when asked about the reward, what did he say? He pretty much said it was pledged. The audience is going to pay it. When did Ellie ever say it was a trash truck? They didn't. I played it over and over again. They never did. Just like Ellie never said that Sebastian never left his house that night. The next time you hear an idiot repeat that, ask them where you can find it. Guarantee they can't present it to you because it simply never happened. The FBI allegedly had a illegal spyware program in McDonald's car reader. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. It's part of the freaking history for everyone, right? I don't get it. I don't know what people don't understand here. SF, to wrap it all up, SF never once stated that this was a trash truck. Matter of fact, he feels this is why people are so hate-filled, right? Because Mob Crew immediately, again, because they worked the right angle, propaganda, if you will, they created an us first them mentality, and they've determined that SF is on the them side of it. And Mob Crew, who deems himself an us, immediately went into it from a jaded perspective that he didn't even realize they both felt the same way. SF agreed with you, Mob Crew. Everybody's so quick to go against the quote-unquote other side instead of acknowledging the fact that we all want the same end result. We all want to know what happened to Sebastian Rogers. Right now, they want the footage from neighborhood cameras. Why didn't you get it before? Why does SF have to pave the way? Is it because he's an actual private investigator? So the ones that are LARPing, if you will, as private investigators have to follow the tracks that the real one leads? And has any of these people presented to any of us yet the proof that SF and Katie Proudfoot ran to the steakhouse in a hurry looking for the footage? Have they proven that yet? It'd be really easy to do, wouldn't it? You don't think if at night, Nick, Dog, Lasniak, whoever else is, all these other little rejects, you don't think if they had footage showing Katie and SF running in looking for this footage, you don't think they would have released it? They would have done it with such a quickness and a swiftness, your heads would have turned quicker than Katie's at the house that night. But they don't have it. Matter of fact, he literally offered money to a charity of their choice that they would present it, and they didn't because they can't and they won't. Just like they won't be able to present to you all where the police said that Sebastian never left his house that night. Never happened. Hey, Your Blues, welcome. Thank you. Right, if you have a problem with him, don't use his content. How dare you? What a great point, Titanium. If you think he's so discreditable, it's just aggravating. They say hate channels, Vivian. They do that because, again, that's what they're following, the guidelines of how to do this, how to brainwash the masses. Us first them, us first them. I'm sure I would too, Autism. I'm sure I would too. But I couldn't get through his video when he starts off the first 10 minutes having a go at SF and trying to discredit him. And in the meantime, discredit himself. Maybe he'll take a look at it, take a look at what SF released, and make an apology video, and then we'll find out. But to immediately go and try to, show how wrong SF was, why? Oh, because you guys created teams. Somebody has to watch that again. I'll put it on again. I mean, I still can't get over the fact that he's saying, oh, he's like Hitler. He called my parole officer. He's like Hitler. Come on, man. Grow up. Stop trying to use emotionally driven topics to create your fucking hate. It's sick. And it's sick to everybody who suffered. Again, this is February 26, 5:01 a.m. What is it? It's a trash truck. How do they have it? From the footage. By 5:12, they're damn near in front of Sebastian's home. There's your field of view. It's just aggravating that people don't want to think with logic, man. So you got Seth Rogers saying it. You got Chris Proudfoot saying it. I can't get over that. I can't get over him saying he's like Hitler. I can't. I agree, Tara. Like, why? Listen, I get it. If you believe the Proudfoots are guilty, I get it. I understand why. I have more understanding now than I did before as to why people would feel that way. I get it. But there are so many other possibilities. But guess what? Those possibilities won't keep you all coming. Everybody needs a good old school bad guy and a good old hero. And they created theirs. Chris Proudfoot and Katie Proudfoot are the villains, and Seth Rogers is the hero. And why is that? Well, Katie didn't act the way we feel she should. Well, in my opinion, Seth didn't act the way I felt he should either. Does that mean I'm going to scream he's guilty? No. You know why? Because we don't fucking know. And we have this wonderful thing called innocent until proven guilty. Look at how many people sat on death row because they were deemed guilty to later be found out that they were innocent. And then you got to worry about tainting the jury pool. And we're to believe that all these YouTube creators are in contact with all these neighbors and all these people in the Hendersonville area of Tennessee believe that Chris and Katie are guilty, then what happens if they are arrested and they have to come up with a jury pool? First thing I'm going to say is I don't want to be in this courthouse. I don't trust it. These people have spent 9 months to a year persuading the public's opinion on me that I simply don't trust. You don't know. And again, I don't think we were meant to have this footage. We got one more. Hold on. Oh, this lady. Oh, she's Jill. Thank you so much. Right. It's a narrative. It's a narrative. And again, I'm not saying they're innocent because Lord knows I don't know. But I'm not going to jump and say they're guilty either. I'm just not. All right, let's see. All right, let's hear this one.
The autistic teenager was last seen by his mother and stepfather when he went to bed. This actually isn't exactly true. His stepfather was not home, but when he went to bed on the night of the 25th of February, the whole story is that he went to bed at about 9 o'clock. Mom hears some shuffling or something at like 10 o'clock.
Yes. The only reason to keep everyone divided is one, people had long-lasting feuds between each other. Examples being SF and Betty, JLR and Betty, QB and Betty, and then Brittany and me. So they literally chose out their perfect assholes. Because a few months ago, believe it or not, both Brittany and Betty were admitting that there were shady things about Tony and Seth, especially Brittany. Now she won't even so much as sneeze their way. She won't even call them out for anything. Why? Because she signed on. That's why. Propagandists. They pick the least intelligent.
And then the next morning when she goes to wake him, he's not there. And so she claims to look all around the house, then, looks all around, maybe the exterior of the home, and then she's like freaking out, frantic, like any of us would be, right, if we're missing our baby. The canines tracked his scent through a construction area and into a retention pond. The pond was then drained, but they still did not find anything. So let's see. So all this started on February 26th, and now we're on March 21st, and there's still no answers as far as what happened to him goes. Now, what's a little bit odd to me is that they haven't raised more money as a reward to find him. I think last I see here, $3,500 has been posted as the as the reward for finding him.
And that 35 was never even confirmed. It was never confirmed.
I'm sorry, but we've seen cases where it's like 80,000, 100,000, 150,000, 200,000. Just saying, that's a very low reward, in my opinion. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes of all this. Then a landfill, a landfill was searched in Kentucky. That was on March 7th. And I think what led investigators to the landfill was the garbage men. The garbage men claimed that the trash that was taken out that day, because garbage was collected on Monday morning at about 5:12 a.m.
Oh, at what time, ma'am? 5:12 a.m.? I disagree. I don't care what Mop says. I don't care what Mop says from the comfort of his house. I don't care. I disagree. 5:12 a.m. There you go, Mob. How would anybody know what time the trash trucks came? Well, her neighbor friends told her it was 5:12 a.m. Your neighbor friends didn't tell you that?
The trash that was taken out that day, because garbage was collected on Monday morning at about 5:12 a.m. And the garbage people claimed that the trash was a bit heavier than usual, which I don't know how they even gauge something like that.
Oh, you know what else? If anything happened tomorrow, gosh forbid, to your family, what would your neighbors have to say about you? Think about that one.
But somehow that tip is what led them to the landfill. As of right now, both the mom and stepdad, I would say they're compliant, but in a lot of ways, it's hard to say. They're compliant, but like the stepdad is super argumentative. I don't know if you guys have seen the interviews and stuff, but he's quick to anger. You can definitely see that. No doubt about it. What you need to know, though, is about these weird, bizarre lights. I'm sure.
I agree with that. He's quick to anger when there's a bunch of people gaslighting him. And I agree that Seth Rogers is quick to anger. I also agree, given the circumstances, I'd be quick to anger. You know what gets me angrier than anything else? Is when people spread misinformation about my children. And for the past 9 months, people have spread misinformation about their children. Okay? You have anybody, especially people by the thousands, judging you as a mother, as a father, as a stepfather, and how quickly will you get fucking angry too?
You guys have heard about them, but let's get into the lights because I think it all ties together somehow. Let me share this with you. Okay.
That's because it was
These lights
their
are bizarre, man.
itinerary. They were told to go after them last night. Again, the propaganda, go for the least intelligent. Tell them what to say and what to do. Make sure the message is spread across to the masses, but keep it simple for the simple-minded, the feeble, if you will. The useful idiots. The ones whose thinking is restricted. Keep it to the few bare essentials. Express it in the most simplest of ways for the simple-minded.
The video you're about to see is from early Monday morning, February 26th, around 3:10 a.m. Now, there are no street lights in the Stafford Court neighborhood, so it is at night, pitch black. What you will see here are these 2 points of light, believed to be people with flashlights, in the area around Sebastian Rogers' Hendersonville home.
It is believed Sebastian left his home barefoot and with a flashlight sometime overnight. Since his disappearance, authorities have reviewed security video from homes in the neighborhood looking for clues. We have had several clips that have come in, and this one is getting the most attention, showing signs of activity around Sebastian's home the night he disappeared. You see two light sources, which we've circled to help you follow. For point of reference, the security camera was pointed toward the back of Sebastian's home in a common area. In the video, you see subject 1 with a light source in the lower right-hand corner. Then you see subject 2 briefly appear and move toward the first before that light source is covered or obscured by bushes. Subject 1, a few seconds later, then moves out of frame. Then subject 2 reappears and follows subject 1.
Captain Kurt.
Let me tell you real quick. The camera that observed these lights was on Kellen, I think it's Kellen Lane. Okay, so Kellen Lane, from what I've seen on the map, runs parallel with Stafford Court, which is the street that they were on. So this is basically a home that's likely behind them or offset maybe to the left or to the right, up behind.
It's somewhere. It's either to the left, to the right, left, right. Could be anywhere. Maybe left or right, though.
Wonderful job, guys. Let's get into the information that I've got. At the very least, it's going to be pretty interesting.
She started crying?
All right, first thing you didn't know, that
she started crying? Was she crying when she was spreading rumors on my children? Was she crying then? She started crying because he asked if she was going to take a nap. Meanwhile, she's out here tearing these parents to bits. That is a great game. We play it all summer, actually. Wonder how many times her commentary has made Katie Proudfoot cry.
Trav Time, he's another YouTube creator. He reported a couple days ago that a neighbor, somebody, I guess it was a neighbor, told him that there was a foreign car that came into that neighborhood spotted around 3 a.m.
Oh.
This completely, in my opinion, corresponds with these unusual lights.
Oh, but it doesn't.
What does it actually mean, right?
Uh-huh.
Does it mean that the parents in some way had something to do with it? Great.
Possibly, right? Could. It could.
Question. Don't know. But what I can tell you is
karma.
I talked to several different individuals. I'm going to go over what they said. Okay. So there are no street lights on that street, or I guess on any of those streets around there in the middle of the night.
I know,
because
Rhonda.
of there. I guess there's no HOA. So it's completely pitch black in that neighborhood, which makes it incredibly hard for a camera to capture, what's even going on. I'm sure the TVI and stuff has had to really adjust the lighting to try to get any image whatsoever because it's just so dark.
Right. And they're the ones that have actual access to satellite footage, to all the programs needed. They've been doing this. They're trained in it. They're not YouTubers. They're not people like you or I that just come on the internet and talk shit. They are actually credentialed, similar to SF, who is credentialed, unlike those that are going against SF who are not credentialed. Okay? So I think we get the basis of it all. The fact of the matter is, at the end of the day, nobody, aside from Chris Proudfoot and Seth Rogers, has claimed that to be a trash truck. Nobody. Not SF. Nobody else. Just them two. SF actually concludes to the fact that he believes it to be a flashlight. Ironically enough. Who it belongs to, nobody knows. Because if we did, the answers would be solved. I personally, again, I don't believe in coincidences when it comes to tragedies such as this. I don't believe that a child is reported missing at the night time when a flashlight is seen, and apparently all he had with him was a flashlight. I find it to be very suspicious. I believe it is evidentiary value. I just don't think that the police wanted the parents to know about it, nonetheless the public. Okay? Which is why they asked for him to take that down. Which is why they ran to Seth and Chris and said, no, it's a trash truck. Which is why they ran to the public and said it was a trash truck. But we don't have to believe it to be such. because they say it. I'm going to go with what I believe, with what I can see, and common sense. Common sense tells me that this is the only bit of evidence they have that night to what could have happened. And I believe they are investigating it. And I believe they have other things that we're not meant to have. I also believe at the end of the day, regardless of quote unquote sides, again, we all want the truth. And we all want Sebastian to be found. And again, I bring you all to this quote because it holds so true. Instead of letting everybody's hate keep this divide going and ignore the blatant obvious, stop thinking emotionally. The fact is, we all want the same thing. We just view it differently, and that's okay. This is why I'm open to have conversations with people who feel differently. I would like to know what you all see that perhaps I don't, and maybe I could see what you see. But labeling people hate channels and screaming that these people are filth while you're screaming filth and I'm screaming filth, at the end of the day, we're all screaming filth. Unfortunately, Sebastian Rogers' case is caught in between long-lasting vendettas, and some useful idiots ran to jump on quote-unquote sides and push a narrative. I'm a free thinker over here. I believe all parents are guilty, or I'm sorry, I believe all parents are suspicious. I don't know if anybody is guilty. It's not up to me to decide. I'm going to go ahead and put my faith in the law enforcement. And if I don't trust Sumner County because I believe they're corrupt, well, do I also believe the FBI is? The secret agents are? At what point do you have to acknowledge there's no way to have that much corruption going on? It's nearly impossible. Both sides are so blinded by their hate of each other that we're refusing to see that we're all fighting for the same thing. When's that going to end? Who's going to eat crow at the end of all of this? And in the meantime, who's losing out? Sebastian Rogers, that's who. He has become riddles, a character, and a shield for the mudslinging. Thank you so much, Princess Elsa. I am clinging to the statement the DA is updated weekly. That means there is evidence they are working to file charges of some sort against one or more people. I told you all last week I believe they're coming. I do. Thank you all for being here with me. If you haven't, please hit the thumbs up. We are close to 1,000 thumbs up. It is the best way and a free way to support a channel. I appreciate you all being with me today. And let's remember, at the end of the day, this is all supposed to be about Sebastian. On February 26, 2024, an Amber Alert went out for 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers. Sebastian is white, 5'5", 120 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Sebastian was last seen wearing a black long-sleeve shirt, black sweatpants, and glasses. He has a medical condition that may impair his ability to return safely without assistance. If you have seen Sebastian or have information regarding his whereabouts, please contact the Sumner County Emergency Center or TBI at 1-800-TBI-FIND. Let's take this moment to pray for Sebastian's safe return. You know what else I'd like to take a minute to do? Let's take a minute to stop comparing ridiculous, tiny situations to actual tragedies. Let's stop doing that too. Fucking Hitler. Unbelievable.